Well, it has been such a fun season covering this team, from the good, the bad, the ugly, the worse than ugly. Insert any adjective there. Really frustrating, and so many reasons why. You have the 24-year-old Cam Schlittler, who did not have his best stuff tonight, but he found a way to get through it, only gave up 2 runs. You had Aaron Judge. That was the storyline. Is Aaron Judge going to show up? Well, yeah. And unfortunately, playoff Stanton is gone. Bellinger didn't look great. And really, the only guy that came through was Ryan McMahon. How fitting was it that Aaron Judge was part of bringing in the second run of the night, and McMahon drove in the only run of the night until the 9th inning? Thought that was on par with everything. Jason Dominguez, he gets to say that his 2025 postseason, he had a 3,000 OPS. So yes, J-Dom for life. Anthony Volpe, you should be begging the Yankees for money. You should not be negotiating them. You should be begging them to come back. Because I'll tell you right now, that was absolutely pathetic in every meaning of the word. You should lose your job. Well, I mean, you should have lost your job in this postseason at Caballero. We'll get to that. You should lose your job to George Lombard Jr. as soon as everybody reports back to spring training. Trent Grisham, goodbye. We enjoyed the regular season, but you were a lemon when your best was required. And we'll get more into it, but I have other things I want to say. The bullpen, I give them a lot of credit. They were not the issue. Jazz Chisholm, I've defended you constantly. You didn't run to first. You looked like Robinson Cano out there jogging to first. You could have beaten out that double play. The double play, speaking of which, you couldn't turn. You just botched it. And then John Smoltz had to put every adjective in the book to describe why you botched it. Look, this sucks because where do you go from here? You went to the World Series last year. You were embarrassed. This was a better team than last year's team, and they couldn't make it to the ALCS. Now, before I pass it over to Gary, because obviously this is going to be a long show, and this is just the opening part, I want to say this. I hope to God everyone in the Yankees brass at the very top watched this series with both eyes wide open and saw the difference between these two teams. These two teams went into the postseason with 94 wins. Mm-hmm. And Toronto looked astronomically better at the plate. Toronto, George Springer, but it's not even Springer. We've seen what Springer can do. We know Springer. It's guys like Nathan Lucas. It's guys like Davis Schneider. It's guys like Dalton Varsho, Ernie Clement, who had the greatest LDS in Major League Baseball history. This is what postseason baseball is about. All you people out there that try to say that batting average is overrated, he doesn't have a high, or it's all about the WRC plus and your OPS plus and your bacon and your waffle, and fuck all of that. Batting average matters. Contact matters. If the Yankees had half of the contact, just half of the contact that the Blue Jays had, Aaron Judge would have had enough support to win this series. It is unreal that Aaron Judge went out there. All the pressure was on him because all anybody wanted to talk about the Yankees, they didn't. No. Volpe was garbage all year. They weren't putting pressure on him. He's at the bottom of the order, right? It was all on Aaron Judge. And what did he do? He sent this to a game 4 by hitting a 3-run home run on an improbable pitch that he's never hit in his career, and down 0-2 that has never been hit in the postseason at that velocity. Not only that, he comes into this game, he goes 2 for 4, he gets intentionally walked, and he gets led astray because Trent Grisham, who's leading off, can't set the table. Absolutely repulsive play from Trent Grisham, from Anthony Volpe, and the one that bothers me so much.
Who's that?
Is Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone lost me forever tonight. Forever. When he decided that, yeah, Anthony Volpe has, 13 strikeouts in the postseason? Anthony Volpe is horrendous. He's 2 for 15, no RBIs? But we need Anthony Volpe because at any moment, guys, that power, that 19 home run power can come alive. And he put together one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen. And Grisham, are you kidding me? See, you pinch hit Anthony Volpe in the 9th inning, thus proving me right because Jason Dominguez comes up and J-Dom for life, who didn't get any chances, comes in. He laces a double, one of the best hits we saw all postseason. Where was that? So the fact that you pinch hit Ryan McMahon in the 3rd inning yesterday, but you let Anthony Volpe ride this thing out until the bottom of the 9th inning when the game was out of reach. I have no words. And Trent Grisham, you never should have been leading off. He's been awful. Trent Grisham hits home runs. He hit 34. And we just found out home runs are how you can win 90 games. You can be a home run team. But in the postseason, Trent Grisham, when he had to step up, simply did not. 138 batting average, 219 on base. That's on Boone, though. Why is that on Boone? I always say these are grown men. They need to step up. Yes, absolutely. But Aaron Boone continued to hit a guy who is absolutely abysmal at the plate in the postseason, had an OPS in the 400s, and he led him off.
Yep.
See, think about this last year, guys. Juan Soto, then Aaron Judge. This year, it was Trent Grisham, then Aaron Judge. I just told Gary off air, and this is exactly how I feel. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. isn't dangerous if Springer doesn't hit, if Lucas doesn't hit. He's just a guy who all he can do is have a solo shot and give you 1 run. That is what the Blue Jays did to Aaron Judge. They isolated him, and now every time he's coming up to the plate, there's nobody on base. Where's the damage? You can have 114 miles an hour off the bat be a double, but what is that going to do when you're down? And unfortunately, that was the backbreaker. That was my biggest issue over anything. It wasn't the bullpen at the end of the day that failed this team. It wasn't even the starting pitching. The bottom line is they could have overcome all of that if Aaron Boone took Anthony Volpe out and actually let Caballero, who showed you how important he was down the stretch, was a big reason why you went on that winning streak. Let's not forget, if he let Caballero continue to play, that would have been huge. And in addition to that, no one wants to admit it, his defense was poor, but Jason Dominguez should have started every single game over Trent Grisham, because at the end of the day, I would rather have a guy who's going to struggle in left field and hit than a guy who's going to be decent in center field and not hit at the top of the order, thus making Judge basically just a guy that you can walk. And guess what? They intentionally walked Judge. So, Gary, that to me was unacceptable. That's a fireable offense. They were a better team this year. They could not make it out of the ALDS. And there are organizational issues all over the place we are going to get into in this show. I've been going on for 10 minutes, but my point here is this. Aaron Boone lost me tonight because I thought he managed the game pretty well, but when push came to shove, you put Volpe out there. You let Volpe stay out there. Ryan McMahon was pinch hit. He's the only reason you had a damn run at that point in the game. And you pinch hit him, but you let Volpe waste at bat after at bat after at bat. And you did the same thing with Trent Grisham. And guess what? Volpe is your 8th hitter. That still stings, but he's your 8th hitter. Trent Grisham was your leadoff hitter. When your leadoff hitter is absolute dog shit, this is what happens. We knew this. How did you not learn from last year's mistake? They found their leadoff hitter in Gleyber Torres, and they saw how important it was, how key and critical it was, and yet they continued to trot out Trent Grisham, who was god-awful in the leadoff spot. All right, I'm done.
I appreciate it. By the way, guys, if you're new here, this isn't necessarily common, right? Because now that everything's unfolded, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video. It's really good for the show. Jake, I listened to every word you said. And the number that really sticks out to me, because really the Yankees don't know what they're really looking at. Okay, when it comes to building their team, and then how do you use the team? Once the roster's set in stone, how do I use these players? Now, I told you at the beginning of the year, you said, well, I think this team is better overall, right, in terms of overall talent than what we were the previous year. And I agreed with you. And I also said it was the easiest path to the World Series I think I've ever seen. And it really didn't help our organization at all by making it to the World Series last year. It just didn't. I didn't think we deserved to be on the field with the Dodgers. We showed our ass on national television. And when you go out there and you're not prepared to play, it's not a surprise. If you actually watch the Yankees, it's exactly who we were the whole year. We were a team that didn't execute the fundamentals. Obviously, Juan Soto wasn't going to help us with that, but they would hit, right? You also have guys like Verdugo. You got a bunch of players, Rizzo, who can't help you. And then you go into this year, and the Yankees, the key number for me, Jake, the key number was 51. 51 more runs this Yankees offense scored than the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Yankees would tell you in the broadcast, right? Joe Davis, or John Smoltz, whoever else is on the broadcast, they all echoed the best offense in baseball. Wrong. Incorrect. You're simply looking at it from a standpoint of how many runs does this team score total for the regular season, and then they're walking into the postseason, and they think that that's going to be an indication of what's going to happen in October. Wrong. The Yankees are built for 162. That is it. That is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that every time, and again, one of the biggest fans of Michael Kay that there could be, that Michael Kay will say, how can you complain when the Yankees win 94 games? How can you complain when the Yankees go win 98 games, right? They may have fallen short in the championship series, but how can you complain? Look around. And yet, they don't realize they're building a roster full of players who can look up and say, I hit 20 homers. I drove in 80. I had a 30-30 season. Jazz Chisholm wasn't a good hitter this year at all. Maybe I'm the only one that'll say that. I didn't think Jazz had a good season. He was 30-30, wasn't a good season. He was a 242 hitter. And Jake, I told you pre-show, when Jazz comes up and you hit 240, guys, keep in mind, that's hitting 242 against teams' aces, their twos, their threes, hell, 4s and 5s and even openers. All of them. Every pitcher in baseball, he hit 242. Jazz Chisholm should be a contact player. He's not. He's committed to the power game. So what did we watch him do this series, Jake? We watched him, right? Hits a home run. He gives you the pimp job. He gets on Instagram, feeling good about himself. Great. Great. Then we were waiting in game 4 for him to pop a homer, not to do anything else. That's who he is. Then you look up at Anthony Volpe. They said, well, how good does Volpe? Volpe hit 20 home runs. Anthony Volpe was useless this season. This is defense aside, which, by the way, was atrocious. They simply look at the stat, and guys, it's there. Batting average, ops. They look at ops. How much do you walk in the regular season, and how much do you slug in the regular season? And they say, well, he slugged. We think he'll equate to runs in October. It's the reason Jason Dominguez didn't play. The reason Trent Grisham, because Jake, you criticize the fact that Grisham didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to play well in order to start, and not only start, Jake, he led off for this team. They did that because he slugged. He hit 34 home runs in the regular season. Jason Dominguez, on the other hand, people told us, oh, well, he's still developing. And I said, well, why do you think that, right? Why do you think Jason Dominguez is a developing offensive player, but Trent Grisham isn't? They say, well, Trent Grisham hit 34 home runs. They stopped there. That's the end of it. They said, when will the power develop for Jason Dominguez so we can think that he's part of this organization as a starter? That's why he didn't play. It's not because of the defense. It's because of the slugging. This Yankees team doesn't know what works in October. So whoever you think is responsible for creating these lineups, for building these rosters, and saying, I need to find another dude who's going to hit 236, who's going to hit 31 homers, who hit 24 homers last year. It'll improve here with the Yankees. That is not the right way to build a baseball team. It doesn't work. Stop doing it. So let's go into 2026. When we go into the winter, ask yourself this. Would I want this player up with 2 outs and a man on third base? Can I trust him in an at-bat against good pitching? If the guy looks like Jazz, the answer is no. If the guy looks like Volpe, if it looks like Wells, the answer is no. If it looks like Grisham, the answer is no. They're going to pile up stats against bad pitching all year long. Are they going to help you win some regular season games? Absolutely. But guess what, guys? You're going to turn around and you're going to be pissed off that that group is suddenly coming up small. But Jake, hold on a second. They're not coming up small. Guys like Wells and Volpe, all those guys, Grisham, they were sitting down left and right, 0 for 4s left and right against some of the game's best pitching. When we went and faced, you go see a Crochet in the regular season, you go see Tarek Skubals, those guys were useless. They weren't good at bats. They were good at bats against the 5-starter in Colorado. We go to Cincinnati and we see their 3 or their 4. Those are the guys that they're taking deep, and they look at the end of the season, and Volpe's about to go into arbitration. He's going to go into arbitration and say, look at me. I won a Gold Glove a couple years ago, and I hit 20 home runs this year. You guys think that that's a good baseball? That's good baseball? To watch players hit home runs in the regular season against bad pitching and then show up in October, and in back-to-back seasons, you were eliminated on openers. We lost to the Dodgers. They opened. They didn't even have a starter. That's how injured they were. Still the better team. We faced the Toronto Blue Jays, and a lot of Yankees fans said, no, we're better than this team. We lost and were eliminated again at home with an opener. You guys, as an organization, should be ashamed. And also, Jake, last thing I'll say, we've built a rotation, again, of regular season merchants. Max Fried, downright fraud in October. Carlos Rodon, downright fraud in October. Gonna do nothing, will never do anything. Completely useless. And to prove it, no one in this comment section thought Max Fried really was the right guy to pitch. He's our ace. Technically, he's the highest paid guy on our rotation. He was projected to pitch that game 5. We weren't winning that game. That's how bad it is here. That's how bad Brian Cashman, of a job he's done, putting talent in the room to be mismanaged by Aaron Boone. It's all of them, man. It's what Jabba said. It's all of them equally. So don't blame just one person. It is Hal. It is Brian Cashman. It is Aaron Boone. It's the hitting coach. It's Rojas. They all stink. Volpe, the old regime of, oh, he's going to be a star. Oh, he's not Bobby Witt. What do you expect? Jake, this group downright is pathetic. And frankly, we're watching them because of what was going on in 1998. Let's be real. That's what's happening right now. So I would suggest, if you're Hal Steinbrenner and you just simply want to sell chicken and you want to get fans excited, do what they want. This is an entertainment industry. If you do what we want in an entertainment industry, you're going to make more money off of us. So I would suggest, starting right now, and I mean tomorrow, we should be taking action. Manager, GM, we should be finding new people to take these roles. You said it best. We need new blood. We need a new direction in New York. Completely. I heard Guy in the comments. I was reading the lives as you were talking. We need a completely new mentality as far as how we go about winning.
I love that. I love that we both finished around, it was like the 10-minute mark. So we're just, like, ping-ponging back and forth. All right. Here's the deal. Because first off, we just went 20 minutes. 20 plus minutes. We know that there are Blue Jays fans in here. We know there are Blue Jays fans that are in here every single night.
Yes.
And we have a lot of respect for the game of baseball. So I want to make this very clear. I am very impressed with the job the Toronto Blue Jays did. I actually think this is great for baseball.
It is.
Let's just put it this way. First off, congratulations to all the Blue Jays fans in here and the Blue Jays. They absolutely kicked the Yankees' ass. This wasn't, the umpires. This wasn't, a bad play at home. No, this was just an ass kicking. So congratulations to the Blue Jays. That was impressive. I want to bring
regular season and postseason, by the way. We actually didn't edge them out at any point the whole season. I think the final series that we had at the stadium, we actually held our own for a second.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Other than that, the Jays literally just, it was a windmill dunk all over our heads from start to finish. So they deserve to go past us. They just did.
100%. I might even root for them, to be honest with you. Just because I think they're so good for baseball. I think they're better for baseball than Seattle winning.
You know what's nice about it, Jake? You know the best part about the Toronto Blue Jays being the team that would eliminated the Yankees? Here's the best part, guys. If you're looking for a consolation here, if this doesn't wake them up, that their approach to how they build an offense and build a team, if this doesn't wake them up, that a team that really isn't trying to slug at all. Kirk's not trying to hit homers. Varshaw's not really trying to hit homers. Santander is, right? They brought him in to hit homers. Clement has 25 career jacks. He's a starter, right?
Yes.
Jimenez is not a slugger. They built a team, right? Luke's, he's not trying to slug. The whole roster is built and all predicated really around 2 strike and 2 out hitting. That's what they wanted to do. We want to hit for a high clip. And Jake, you sent it to me. I saw it all over Twitter. 18 2-strike hits from the Toronto Blue Jays. It's exactly how you want to prove to the Yankees your slug, strikeout, or walk approach is nothing. It doesn't hold a candle to what they built over there in Toronto. So I guess we can be thanking our lucky stars that Ohtani didn't sign with the Jays, because it would have made this series much worse for us. But congrats to the Jays. They built the team the way it's supposed to be built, actually a little bit more the way the Arizona Diamondbacks.
By the way, Bo Bichette didn't play. And by the way, as we talked about, Bassett didn't pitch. So, you know, if they had Bassett, I'm not ignorant to the fact they would have just absolutely toasted the Yankees. A-Rod, the man who hit 696 home runs, basically was saying home runs are nice, but they're for flash. Batting average is for titles. When you hear that from a guy who hit 100 home runs and had 2,000 hits or whatever, okay. When you hear that from somebody who hit 696, that tells you something. I agree with A-Rod entirely. And I hope that this is going to, because this isn't analytics, by the way. Blue Jays, do they use analytics? Probably. But this isn't analytics. This is not analytics. This is feel, okay? This is feel for the game. I commended Schneider earlier in the season. I said, you know what? This team isn't that great, and what he's getting out of them is impressive. But you know what? I think that is unfair. I think this team is that great. I think they just have guys like they have a bunch of Marco Scuderos, and during the regular season, that's not sexy. But during the postseason, that's when those guys step up. So were they annoying as hell all series? Yes. Am I still a fan of guys like Alejandro Kirk? No, I'm not. But they're good. They're really good. And again, 18 to 0-2 hits or whatever. That's huge to me. But look, I want to point this out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Yankees, if you want to take any positive away from this, I feel like you can't really learn in your wins, but you really can in your losses. And I feel like the Yankees learn from the Dodgers series. I do. They put more of an emphasis in the defense, and
that did happen.
They went out and got a really good contact bat in Bellinger. Goldschmidt, situational hitter, right? So I think they had the right idea, although Goldschmidt didn't play nearly enough for my liking, but that's neither here nor there. What I want to say is this. This is another loss where the Yankees can learn from this. The Yankees can learn, hey, what's working for them, there's no reason it can't work for us. And guess what? Hate to break it to you guys, the Yankees already have some Blue Jays on the roster. I mentioned Jason Dominguez the other night is not really a Yankee. He's more like a Toronto Blue Jay the way he hits. Sure enough.
He'll hit 250. Like if he started, he's a in his rookie season, he would have hit 250. He would have hit 17 homers. You wouldn't hit the 30, right, that Grisham would go give you.
Yeah.
That's a Yankee. Grisham is exactly what the Yankees wanted out of Aaron Hicks. When they gave him that 7-year, $70 million contract, everyone's like, what the hell is Aaron Hicks? What are we doing? The Yankees thought the most valuable thing you could do is pop homers, walk, and play some solid defense. Meanwhile, the Jays, and you mentioned Jason Dominguez being more of a Toronto Blue Jay, that's really saying he's just more of a guy who could hit a single and feel like it was a mission success. Not I had to take a step back there. I didn't really get my pitch to do the damage I wanted to do. The Jays aren't trying to hit home runs. Jason Dominguez isn't trying to hit home runs. He's trying to steal bases. He's trying to impact the game in a different way than really we play.
You felt his speed immediately when he came up. It was like,
absolutely.
Why didn't I feel this with Jazz? And it kind of goes to show you, Jason, I will say this. I think that was the biggest swing and the miss in the entire series. Jason Dominguez not playing over Trent Grisham. I stand by it. I understand the defense is bad. I don't think it was bad enough to literally deal with what we saw with Trent Grisham. That was
pathetic. The Jays had guys playing who are not good defenders.
No.
Santander's not a good defender. I mean,
no, he's
there
horrendous.
were errors at third base in this series for the Jays that were just reprehensible. They were bad defensive plays. Guys, when someone plays in a certain position, that doesn't, if they're a bad defender, that doesn't mean they suck. It means they must have a strength on the other side.
Yeah.
That's just how this is. So for you to go out there and to not play a player who you know really can help you in a postseason setting, what it really tells you is that the Yankees just don't believe that the way that the Jays just built a roster, they don't believe that that could work for us. Not yet. They don't believe it. Because if they did, Jake, we were saying here on our show, and it's not like we're two wizards here. We're not two geniuses. You mean to tell me we were the only two people thinking that Jason Dominguez could have an impact on the series? He can, maybe it's a different flavor, something else to get on base so that Aaron Judge isn't hitting with nobody on. Only the two of us thought that? There's no possible way. So I will tell you guys, I agree with Jake. I completely agree with you. We learned a ton from the Dodgers series. We had to get better defensively. The Yankees did that, right? They bring in Cody Bellinger. To be fair, would they have brought in Cody Bellinger if they had gotten Juan Soto? Because we absolutely went full board to get Juan Soto.
I don't think so.
The answer is no. So how much better would the Yankees have gotten fundamentally if they took Cody Bellinger off the roster and it was replaced by Juan Soto? Probably much worse. It probably looks like Jason Dominguez out in the outfield and Juan Soto. What does that defense look like? So I hear what you're saying. In hindsight, they brought in Goldschmidt. They got a little bit more fundamental. But, man, how long is it going to take the Yankees? Is it going to take an offseason, 2 or 3 off seasons? How long is it going to take for us to look up and say, oh, we've got a group of 2-out hitters, scrappy offense, or just star talent that you trust, right? Like an Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge can do both.
Well, this
Cody
is what
Bellinger,
you build off
tough
of,
series,
Gary, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Judge, you build off him, obviously.
Of course.
He's your Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but he's
Yes.
his own player, so let's not compare. But
Yes, of course.
He is your guy. He's your aces up, all of that. Then you have Caballero. Caballero is a Blue Jay. Like, I'm surprised they didn't get him. Like, honestly, that dude is exactly what they have, right? So, Caballero, Rosario needs to be back yesterday. He did not play nearly enough down the stretch. By the way, I think Aaron Boone cost this team first place by not playing Rosario. I do. Rosario was hitting very well, and they just didn't play him. They didn't even pinch hit him in certain spots. So
what about playing Anthony Volpe when you knew he was injured and you didn't even tell the media? You didn't tell a single person. They didn't tell us.
Volpe should be done in New York. Done. If you want to have him as a backup, that's the thing, Gary. You don't get to hit, 192 in the postseason, hit 206 during the regulars, whatever he hit, and just be a complete bust and not eventually have a market correction where, hey, guess what? You're not a top prospect anymore. You're not even like a starter. Anthony Volpe is not a starter in this league. That is what I'm saying. If he wants to come back, he's a backup, okay? Caballero should be starting over him. But the point being is that Dominguez is somebody you can build off of. So I think they should keep Dominguez personally. Dominguez, Judge, Bellinger. I know Bellinger had a rough October. I get that. Mm-hmm. He still came through in some spots. I mean, we're talking Grisham had zero RBIs, Gary, 0.
And also Cody Bellinger's defense was special. He was special tonight.
Key.
So,
yes.
And someone could say, well, Cody Bellinger, this isn't the first October. He struggled, right? And I really wouldn't bite back on that. That's true.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger in October hasn't played well. So the Yankees could look at that and say, you guys can say what you want about Cody Bellinger and how valuable he is, but when it matters most, he's this version of himself over the long haul. So maybe the Yankees look at that and say, maybe not do we just completely replace him, but they at least probably have the conversation because you probably want to bring players in who just play well in October. You don't have to wonder.
I also think the Stanton thing is kind of interesting. He's literally taking up a DH spot. Was this a sign that he's falling off? Like, is this his fall off? We don't know. This was the worst postseason I think he's ever had. So I was really surprised we didn't get playoff Stanton, but maybe this is the end of his career. Maybe he's falling off and this is it. We don't know. That's how weird it is. That's how hard it is to. So really the Yankees should be like, hey, how long are you on for? Right? Because yeah. But anyway, Stanton's not really a Blue Jay type of hitter. But the point being, you got Judge, you got Dominguez, you got Bellinger, you got Caballero. That's 4. Rosario's 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ben Rice struggled in this postseason, but he's still very valuable. You can build off him. 6. I wouldn't bring back Goldschmidt just because I think he's at the end of his career. So
yep, I wouldn't either.
You have 6 hitters. Volpe should be gone. Mm-hmm. Grisham should be gone. I mean, you keep Stanton, obviously. I don't mind keeping Jazz. I just think the idea of signing Jazz to a long-term deal, I think, is out of the water now. I don't think that's happening. So Jazz is under contract for another year. And by the way, Jazz can work when other guys are doing their job. When you have a bunch of Jazz Chisholms that are trying to hit home runs, that's when it doesn't work. So Jazz can work. I don't have an issue with that. He played well at second base this year. He did make the error. That was costly. Wells, I think Wells will come back next year, and he'll be a better player. But, Gary, Wells, big hit against the Red Sox, had some big moments in the playoffs, way better than last year. So it was an improvement from last year. But man, I don't know if I brought it up. I feel like I talked about a zillion things. Did we talk about Wells swinging at the first pitch? I just
no. So let's do that. I'm gonna wrap a bow on just the conclusion on that at bat.
Mm-hmm.
To go up there, and we talked about this, Jake. Hoffman was on the mound, who's wild.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me you went up there, and again, you're Austin Wells. He was born Austin Wells. He went through Little League and high school, right? He was on JV, varsity, right? College baseball. I'm pretty sure he went to U of A. And dude goes through all of the minor leagues, and he's like, so I know exactly the type of player, which is I need to find a way to fit in and make sense of this. I'm not a star player, but I need to have a role on a team. He's on the Yankees. He's now a big leaguer. You mean to tell me, Jake, that Austin Wells thought he was a brand of player or good enough of a player to walk into that at bat and swing at a first pitch breaking ball? What are you smoking on? What are you doing?
It wasn't even a good pitch.
It wasn't a good pitch to hit. It wasn't deceptive. It wasn't well located. It was nothing about it was enticing at all to make a pass at the pitch. And Jabba Chamberlain, which you told me, and you let me know that he said, well, I'm not a hitter, but wouldn't you think that it would be a good thing to see a little bit more pitches? The only reason you should be swinging at the first pitch of an at-bat is if you're probably just a great hitter in its own right and you just don't need to see a pitch. Or B, you get an absolute meatball of a fastball middle, and you're like, well, this is the best pitch I'll get. If that's the way you want to do your business, I guess fine. But we saw him do it in this at-bat, in that at-bat, which just ruined the game. You also saw Trent Grisham not just do it today, Jake. Trent Grisham was doing this the whole postseason. That includes the Boston series. Why are you walking into the batter's box as Trent Grisham with a future first ballot Hall of Famer probably going to go in unanimously? You're swinging at the first pitch to the point where a Kevin Gausman can go postgame and go, yeah, I'm not sure why they were so aggressive. It actually really surprised me. That's them telling you you're stupid.
He should have been benched. He should have been benched. The first at bat,
yep,
he should have been benched.
Yep.
Because exactly to your point, if you're going to hit Judge second, that means your leadoff hitter can't be Buns.
No, you can't be. By definition, you can't be. So
this is also
Grisham
why
went
I don't
out there
hitting
But you were saying that you would bench him. Here's the thing. They're not having any discussion that was a bad at bat. When Wells comes back to the dugout, they don't say that was a bad at bat. They say he made the decision to swing at the pitch. They're just giving them the keys to drive the car. No, you tell your players what they can and cannot do in the batter's box. Unless it's Aaron Judge. Unless it's a player who's won an MVP like a Paul Goldschmidt or a Cody Bellinger. But when somebody goes out there who's by definition a role player, they go up there with the bases loaded in the most pivotal spot of the game, and they just go up there and they're hacking. You as a manager have to have a sack to just look a player in his face and say, that's unacceptable here. Come sit down with me. You're not playing. J-Dom's going in.
Sit down next to coach.
Yeah, he's going to go in because I need to trust that the game plan we talked about pregame, we're going to work counts. We need to don't be afraid to get to 2 strikes, put the ball in play. These basic concepts, if you're not going to abide by those, you can't play. And you know what? Grisham's approach, didn't his approach look like a 138 hitter in the postseason? I thought it did. Yeah, you look at Anthony Volpe, he struck out 3 times tonight. He looked exactly, it was a joke. He looked exactly like the results. Exactly what you would think he looked like by watching a singular at bat. Those are exactly the numbers he put up. They're not deserving of roster spots. They both should be completely gone off the roster. I honestly wouldn't mind if Stanton was back here. I don't care. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, so, all right, this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Stay or go, Brian Cashman, we're gone. Now,
should they be gone, or do we think they will be?
And what do they end up doing?
Okay, perfect. Brian Cashman. I'm going to say he should be gone tomorrow morning, right? You let him sleep on it. He's going to be staying at the Ritz-Carlton. He's chilling. You're dismissed. And obviously you don't have to make a fool of the guy, right? Thank you for your time. I move on, right?
Yes.
What do I think they do? I think the Yankees say we won 94 games. If we didn't have our June swoon, our July, we didn't fumble and twiddle our thumbs for 2 months, we win that division. I think Brian Cashman will be just fine. He'll be well and employed by winter meetings.
I agree. I think Brian Cashman is back with the Yankees, and I actually am going to surprise you on this next one. Aaron Boone.
Okay. So I think what you're going to tell me is you think they're going to fire Boone, and I think you're absolutely out of your mind. Aaron Boone will be just fine. I just don't think that there's any evaluation. They told us officially it was a self-audit someone did tell us in our super chats that the audit is still ongoing. So we don't have the results of that audit. So I'm not sure when the audit ends, if it's 2045 or not, or it's when Cashman dies of old age. But I just can't see. I would probably say Boone, if it were me, please. He would be fired tonight, and I would do it disrespectfully. But Aaron Boone, I think he'll be just fine as well. I don't think either lose their job. I think they look at it as a 94-win season. It was a close series. We thought we should have had this game, and we should have went to a Game 5 on the road, and we didn't.
They're not going to fire Boone.
Oh, okay. So that's how you fool me.
I told you, you'd never guess.
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
I started feeling like, you know how I knew this? They
How?
were prepping us for this. Like a Mark Feinstein and guys were like, they were coming out on their podcast and like,
Yes.
isn't it crazy? People want to fire Boone. It's like, oh, he just, it's like, okay.
Can you actually tell the audience? Because I didn't know this until you told me. Can you tell me what Mark said in the with his tweet?
Yeah, it wasn't a tweet. It was an interview. So
Okay.
Mark essentially, I wonder if I could get the thing up. So he was asked, yeah, there's always going to be a call for that. That's how New York works. And then Kenny Albert, I believe. No, Brian Kenny. Good Lord. Brian Kenny. MLB Network. Brian Kenny. I know who Kenny Albert is. It's just obviously a guy in my head.
It's Fat Albert.
Kenny, and you're saying no. What's best for the team moving forward? Feinstein said, personally, I know we've had this conversation. I'm not a believer that managers make that big of a difference in terms of the game to game. When the players perform well, the managers look good. When the players perform poorly, the managers look bad. I think Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone are in lockstep. Cashman has the manager he wants. He's signed for 2 more years. I don't think Hal Steinbrenner's going to say, here's several $1 million to go work for a TV network. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't think he should. That was interesting. Is Aaron Boone the reason Max Fried went out and couldn't pitch in Game 2? No, he's not. Is Aaron Boone the reason Judge has struggled in the playoffs? I don't think so. Feinstein concluded. So here's my thing, okay? I'm just going to make this very clear. So Aaron Boone should 100% be fired. 100%. No doubt about it. There have been firings before. I always bring up the Boston Bruins. The year they set the record for regular season wins in the NHL, they fired Bruce Cassidy because they lost in the first round.
Yep.
Is this not the first round of the playoffs? The wild card's the play-in game. Is it not?
Oh, you don't. Oh, wait. You don't think we should have a major sense of accomplishment that we squeaked out of the wild card against a Red Sox team who was really pretty mediocre all year?
No, I don't at all. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Not to, I understand the AHL is a little bit different than the MLB, right?
Of course.
But the point stands. They set the record, Gary. That record was around for a while. They set the record for most wins in an NHL regular season. And that Boston Bruins organization could not wait to get rid of him when they blew it to the Florida Panthers, who are ironically are now the new dynasty. They've won, 2 in a row? So here's my thing, okay? Aaron Boone deserves to be fired. The results themselves, they're not good enough. You have a top 3 payroll. It's like this idea you're playing on easy mode when the other managers are playing on hard mode.
It's
And
objectively
case in point-
harder to put a roster together when, and mind you, we're not trying to nullify what they still have to do. There's still a job. Like, you can easily spend $300 million and look up and see Anthony Volpe as your damn shortstop. See Ryan McMahon as your third base. And Ryan McMahon played well in the postseason, so I want to give him credit. Ryan McMahon should not be the third baseman of the New York Yankees. Jazz Chisholm, I know you said you were high on him and you'd have him back. I wouldn't. I don't like Jazz at all. I don't. So people can take that like personally and think I just don't like him as a human being. I could not care less about it. You could build a $300 million roster and look up and see the position players that you saw taking the majority of our bats tonight. The majority. And you can spend $20 million on a player that really, I mean, how much it cost us $12.5 million to have Paul Goldschmidt on this roster. We didn't even play him in October. Didn't even play him, and he played well. Didn't play him. So that goes to show you. So to your point, Jake, we're on easy mode, spending money. And a lot of these reporters, because I didn't look at it like that, when reporters start coming out and making it seem like it's damn witchcraft to have expectation of winning a championship, oh my God, you guys have expectation to simply win every year? How about one time in 16 years? How about that? I understand from a year-to-year basis, it sounds a little silly to say, oh, if you win the World Series this year, you'll keep your job, but if you don't, you're going to be fired. Well, what happens if you've been here for 6, 7, 8 years? What about then? How long can we win 93 games, 94 games, and just lay an egg in October? How long does it go, Mark? How long?
Is this
how
when the
much
MLB
longer do I have to watch that?
Is this when the MLB like analysts, they're like too close to the action? Like I mean, no disrespect. We've had MLB insiders on.
Yes,
But
of course.
Isn't it possible that maybe we're closer to the Yankees here? You might be closer to them in proximity. We're watching every night. If you're covering the MLB, you're not watching every night. You're watching, the Pirates. You got to be up on the Rockies.
It's
you gotta
not
watch
physically
the Diamondbacks.
possible to
It's
watch
impossible.
all 30 teams and be filled in. But I think with social media now,
But I think that's what I'm saying is that, like, that's why it seems so often like there's a scoff. Doesn't it always feel like it's a national media scoff? Like, you want to, these these New York fans are crazy. They want to fire Aaron Boone. Oh my God, they want to fire It's like, there's a reason, guys. There's a reason for it. Like, I'm not here telling you that Aaron Boone is the worst manager ever. And I'm not here telling you that whoever the Yankees hired would be better than him, because I honestly don't trust. This goes back to our prompt. The Yankees need a complete organizational overhaul. Wow, that's a mouthful. Because they do. This goes back to that. I think Hal's an issue, like Jabba said. I think Cashman's an issue. So firing Boone might not actually solve a damn thing, because now we have to rely on the people that we don't even trust to go and hire somebody. And that doesn't sound great. And by the way, shout out to Don Mattingly for winning as the bench coach, because the Yankees totally screwed him over. He should have gotten the job anyway. But, okay, the thing here is that you have a structural issue. Hal Steinbrenner does not care like George did. He can say, I don't want to be like my father, and in some respects, I actually kind of like that. I don't like.
Well done.
I don't like what George did to Showalter, because Showalter left because he basically said you had to fire your entire coaching staff and you had to do it personally. Didn't like that. He refused. He left. Didn't like that. I didn't like trading away, prospects, or not even prospects, but like important pieces for over the hill guys. Right? Didn't like that. Right? And then signing over the hill guys that you knew weren't going to be good contracts. Didn't like that. But I would rather have that than what Hal's doing right now. This Anthony Volpe train never should have kept going.
You should also just dislike something about everybody. That's just the nature of manager.
Absolutely.
If you're the manager of a team people give a rat's ass about, there should be something. If you watch enough of them, like you watch all, you mean to tell me, guys, you saw Ninja Hot Dog, you saw Mark, you saw people saying, oh, I've been to 15 games this year. Whose fans are doing that, right? And I know people do, but we're dedicated, right? We watch every day. This is a daily thing. This is part of our lives at this point. And you mean to tell me, whoever it was, you could have a hand-picked manager, your choice. You mean to tell me there's nothing? Girardi. We mentioned about Girardi. He wasn't the perfect manager. He's just better than what we have now. Just better. So that's really what we're saying. It can get better. Just because you're not the worst manager I've ever seen in my entire adult life doesn't mean, you don't have to be the worst manager I've ever seen to be fired. Sometimes I can just look at you and say, hey, I think I can find a little bit better here. This is how it works in the dating pool. If you genuinely think you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you think in your heart of hearts, I can do better than this, you're dumping that dude. You're dumping that chick. That's how it works. So don't tell me, but they'll be dating someone new a week from now. That's what Michael Kay was saying. Oh, remember, the Padres were looking for a manager. This is years ago now, 2-3 years ago. Padres are looking for a manager. Oh, but Boone would be hired right away. Who gives a rat's ass? Who cares? I don't care. You should be worried about what works for you guys, your organization. That's how this whole thing works. So scratch all that, Jake, about Boone has to be just a total buffoon to be fired. He doesn't. He just has to be not as good as something you can find out there in the field. And I genuinely believe if the Yankees started hiring process tomorrow, they can find a better manager than what is currently in operation. I believe that in my heart of hearts, even with Hal doing the hiring. I still believe that. So would it be the perfect hiring because of Hal? Perhaps not. But at the very least, we can know as fans, we can have the tough conversations. If we don't get it done, people actually stand to lose their jobs. I think that message alone would go, it would go miles for this organization. And Jake, I don't know if you saw it. I did tell you. I said tonight was going to be a banger of a podcast.
It is 1,300 people, 39 super chats. I think it's time we get into the super chats.
We should probably get into the super chats. And guys, by the way, I was going to hit the subscribe button to throw that up there, but then I got thrown off the screen last episode, so I'll leave Jake to do it.
Oh, but guys, never do that again.
No. Thank you for all the super chats. We really appreciate you guys in the lives as well, keeping the chat going. We appreciate you guys with all the community we have. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You see the little, it's inverted, but there's a subscribe button. Make sure you guys do that and like the video. Would really appreciate that. Guy kicking it off. Hey, the super chats actually stayed, Jake. Didn't have to use the screenshot. But Guy with the 2, thank you guys. Says protect Volpe once again. Pathetic pinch hit. JD LOL double. What'd you think about the timing of our pinch hitting tonight?
All right. Remember that one game we were playing in Warzone when my lag was really bad, and you're like, yeah, Jake, you're going in slow motion. I was like, oh really? Yeah, it's bad. There you go.
It was honestly, I felt like the average fan that was in, this is rare, the average Yankees fan that was in my replies just bombarding me with messages on Twitter. I genuinely feel like the average reply that I saw was it was a better game plan than what I saw in action tonight. And that rarely ever happens. As crazy as that sounds, just some random on Twitter was much sharper than Aaron Boone was coming into this game. It was absolutely ridiculous. I saw the lineup, wasn't upset by the starting lineup. I really wasn't. Volpe probably shouldn't have played, and let's be real. But I could make sense of the Paul Goldschmidt thing. I could. I talked yesterday about Yeah, Ben Rice, right, had a quality at bat with a man on third base, less than 2 outs, but he didn't get any hits. It was a sac fly. So you can be happy about that. But Paul Goldschmidt was hitting. I still was protecting the good decisions Boone was making. But in action, while the game was going on, the decisions of who to take at bats when and who wasn't allowed to take an at bat, and we were going to hang on to this pinch hitter, what the hell were we doing? It was just watching Austin Wells take those big at bats late in the game made no sense. Ryan McMahon, as you mentioned, hits a home run. They're like, yeah, you just can't see an at bat. You just can't see an at bat right here. It's this Yankees. Jake, take it away.
Great. Yeah, no, it was bad. I think when Volpe came up that first time, I think it was the 7th inning, the second to last time or whatever. Or the last.
I think it was the 7th. Yes,
should have been pinch hit in that moment. I mean, he shouldn't have played. We know that Caballero should have played, but that pissed me off to the point where I don't live tweet during games. Like, I'll tweet things I want to tweet about. I'm not going crazy.
You don't live tweet.
No, I really don't. Because I try to enjoy the game, but I also try to write notes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I tend to do it, and I've even done that a little bit more at the Rams lately. So people are like, why aren't you giving play-by-play? And I'm like, I shouldn't be giving play-by-play. I got Yankees fans following me. They don't need to see, first down, that was a nice pass. So
it's funny that you say this because I literally just live tweet the hell out of it. It's fun, man.
It is fun, but like for me, I just haven't been live tweeting. So things have to really stand out for me. Like the Ernie Clement thing. I kind of called him a bitch, and here's why. Okay.
What'd you say exactly?
My issue was that Camilo Doval hit him. Mm-hmm. And he acted like it was the most ridiculous thing ever and like he did it on purpose. And right after Doval hit him, he's apologizing. And Clement's like, and I'm like, dude, come on. Yeah, he wanted to hit you in a winner go home game. And he's a bullpen guy. And yeah, he come on. Really? Goldschmidt got hit. Did you see him even utter a word?
Who did you say hit him?
Camilo Doval.
What's Doval's biggest problem as a pitcher? He's
wild.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was my one.
So he doesn't even know who the Yankees are.
Yeah, that was my one thing. I was really kind of aggravated by that. And then, there were some other things that I commented on. But really, the thing that gets me to tweet is when Aaron Boone messes up. Either he takes the starter out too early. Gary's already hearing this before I even tweet it. He takes the starter out too early. He takes a bullpen guy out that's killing it. He puts in a bullpen guy that is just an absolute potato. Or he absolutely messes up with the pinch hitting situation. And that is what he did tonight. And I think it cost him. I think it cost him. The moment we saw Grisham in the lineup, that cost him. Because now it's like, oh, okay, cool. So Grisham can't hit. So Aaron Judge is going to be at the plate 3 of the 5 at-bats because he's going to get intentionally walked. So he's only going to have 4 actual at-bats on the stat sheet. He's going to be at the plate, and nobody's going to be on base 3 out of those 4 times. It's unacceptable. And that right there, that's on Aaron Boone. Because you could say, Trent Grisham's a grown man. He should be able to hit. That's fine, and I agree, and I say that all the time. But at the same time, why is Trent Grisham leading off? If you want to keep him in the lineup, I still think it's dumb, but why is he leading off? I said Ryan McMahon should lead off. Guess what? Ryan McMahon hit a home run today. Do you know what my tweet was? Ryan McMahon should have led off today. Do you know what
comment well, you said that on the show.
You know what comment I got? Are you serious? It was like, yeah, I'm serious. You want Grisham? It's like, who would you lead off? Why would you lead off instead of Grisham? Do people
You're
not
trying
realize?
To put the best person out there, which is what the person that's doing the best job right now. That was what you were trying to do. What people tried to make it seem like when you said you wanted Ryan McMahon to lead off is that Ryan McMahon should be the leadoff hitter. Like that should be the best option for the Yankees. This should have been the leadoff hitter the whole time. No. If we had if you've got a Steven Kwan, if you've got an Arias, you have a player who deserves to just simply slot in at the leadoff spot. If you have a Gleyber Torres, you can say, hey, you're going to hit leadoff, but we don't have any of those players on the roster. There's no leadoff hitter. Who should be hitting leadoff for this team? Who?
Trent Grisham never should have been leading off. Remember, I pulled up the stats, 202. His on-base percentage wasn't even that great. Like, he never should have led off. He's a
Kyle Schwarber type build. And that's an insult to Kyle Schwarber. Yes. All I'm saying is that Kyle Schwarber really, in a way, reinvented how we look at leadoff hitters. He's going to go up there. You're going to start the game with a guy who's going to hit 250. Again, eons better of a player. He's going to hit 250. He's going to walk a ton, and he's going to hit 50-plus home runs. He hits good pitching and bad, right? That's Kyle Schwarber. Trent Grisham, on the other hand, they're like, well, let's get it started. Grisham walks a lot. He walks a lot, and that's true. He's got the best chase rate in baseball. So, in theory, he'll draw a walk, and it gets things started. Now Aaron Judge is hitting 2. He gets more at-bats. So that's what we're going to do with our lineup. You need a leadoff hitter. You need a guy with a high batting average hitting leadoff who can also take a walk. That's an expensive player, but it's worth it because it's a guy who will always be on base and clog the base paths. So when Aaron Judge goes up there and is doing damage, like he hit 500, and he hit 600 in the postseason this year, guys. So just to encapsulate how good he was, and it really, we minimized the damage that he could do because Trent Grisham was such ass the whole postseason. It was a joke what he did. He doesn't deserve to be a Yankee after this, so people can spare me with a 34 home runs. I could not care less. I don't care. That's regular season baseball. He'll go play regular season baseball for whoever else next year. It shouldn't be for the Yankees. The Yankees need to look for players who can actually complement what Aaron Judge does. Aaron Judge slugs and he hits for average. You need to put players around him who can hit for average. If you can do that, you've built a much better team. Cody Bellinger didn't play well in October. He's still part of the solution. He should be here. Players like Jazz, the Wells, the Volpes, the players that are simply trying to change the game with the home run ball, I'm good off of it. I am. I know a couple of those players like Jazz will be back here, and I'm whatever about that. But Jake, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. Slim.
No. By the way, look at the bottom of the 7th. Okay? Goldschmidt walks.
Yep.
Goldschmidt's barely played. And he's walking, right? He's not. Notice how he's not extending. He wasn't extending the zone. I'll miss Goldschmidt. I will. I wish his season went a little bit better, but he ended up having a pretty good year, right? All things considered. And he unfortunately got banged up at the end. I think that really kind of cost him. Wells flies out to center. Okay, because Goldschmidt's there. By the way, Goldschmidt probably should have been pinch run there. So, maybe he moves to second on the Wells fly out. But anyway, the point being, Goldschmidt's on first, 1 out. Volpe strikes out swinging, okay? Volpe's at bat was he took a ball that was barely above the strike zone. Okay, good stuff. Mm-hmm. Then he looked at one right down the plate. Then he looked at one that painted the outside corner. And then he swung at one that was way outside the zone and took the worst swing ever. And that was his last swing, hopefully as a New York Yankee. Then Rosario hits for McMahon. That was bizarre because you could have just hit Rosario for Volpe, right? They were trying to go lefty righty, but I'm like, I don't care. I do not care. At this point in the game, it is 4-1, and McMahon is the only reason you have won. So I'm not pinch hitting for him. But anyway, point being, McMahon gets pinch hit for, Rosario comes through, has a single, Goldschmidt is second. Now here comes Grisham. Grisham takes a ball that is nowhere near the strike zone. So he doesn't even get credit for looking at that. It was a knuckle curve that didn't even come close. The next pitch is a strike looking right down the plate. Mm-hmm. The same exact pitch is right down the plate. He pops it out to shortstop. End of the inning. If you took Jason Dominguez, right, and he pinched hit for Volpe, so let's be fair here. You pinch hit him for Volpe. You give him a double there. Goldschmidt is at third. Dominguez is at second. Rosario single to center, just scored 2. It's a 4-3 ball game. Then Grisham is coming up with Rosario at first. Now you put in Caballero, who can play in the outfield. Caballero could then move with Dominguez, right? Dominguez would be at short because he pinch hit for Volpe. You move him with Caballero, who'd be in center, and now Caballero's playing in short, and now you have Jason Dominguez can play in the outfield. Point being here is that, Gary, I'm not saying that's a guarantee if that happens the way it did, because obviously it's a different pitcher, I get that. But the point stands. Dominguez immediately had a double when he came in. This is what could have been. This is the type of thing. This is why fans get so pissed over meaningless things. This is about as meaningful as it gets.
And that's with the Jays, in our opinion, having a better roster. What we're telling you is that you guys should, with a $300 million team, have a better roster, clearly, than what we see today.
Yeah.
But given what you have, which is reality, you go in, do you have the manager and do you have the assistant coaches around that person that they've hired? Are those people pulling the right strings with that group? The answer is no. It makes this even worse. It makes it much worse. There are people who think, and they genuinely have a claim, that Jason Dominguez could have had an impact on the series. We'll never know. The exact same way, by the way, we had the question, would Trent Grisham have helped the Yankees if he played last year instead of Alex Verdugo? Probably. Trent Grisham's still a better regular season baseball player. I mean, we'll leave it at regular season. He was horrible in the postseason. So we'll assume he would have been bad in October of 2024. Alex Verdugo played to the point where Jason Dominguez wasn't trusted to touch the field. They didn't let him touch grass. So, Jake, it's disappointing. It is. But both sides of the fence are failing. Building rosters, roster construction-wise, this team is so flawed, it's disgusting. But we also don't pull the right strings because I actually really liked what Cashman did bringing speed into the room. We didn't use any of our speed going in October. Using speed, I told you, Jake, I said, how aggressive do you think the Yankees are going to be in this series? And you said in the Boston series, you don't expect them to be aggressive because of who they've got at catcher. He's going to shut down the run game. I said, touche, that makes a lot of sense. What was our excuse in this Toronto series? The Yankees didn't steal one base.
Nope. The one base they stole wasn't even a stolen base because Stanton walked.
Exactly. The Yankees didn't steal one base.
And
so coming into the
Blue
series,
Jays only
I told
stole
you
one in this game. And that's
they hit for
thing.
enough contact where that's okay. We can't get away with it. We cannot get away with it.
They didn't even need to steal bases to win.
No.
So it's kind of crazy. And another thing I want to point out here is that, like, I kind of look at, like, the guys Cashman brought in, and I saw them as why the Yankees had that 8-game win streak going into the postseason. I saw them as why the Yankees had the hottest team to end the year. And the Yankees went away from everything that made them what they are. Caballero's not playing anymore. Now it's not a timeshare with Volpe. Now Volpe's just taken over shortstop.
I asked you, do you think that they're going to be as aggressive? And you said probably not as in one of the series. They weren't, not because of what was behind the plate. They simply were just running the bases in the regular season because they perceive those games as being less important, less risky. But when it really comes, push comes to shove, the Yankees are waiting and putting out a lineup. Here's our best guys that we think can take an at-bat that can hit a home run, that can change a game with one swing. They did exactly what you thought they would do, and it doesn't work. You mentioned maybe they can look at this Jays team and learn something from it. You definitely can learn. You can learn, but will they learn? And Zachary Morris with the 10 says, thanks for a great season of shows, fellas. See you next year. Zachary, we really appreciate we really appreciate it.
We need to do our salute.
Is that in the picture there? Is that Brian Cashman on a boat, just enjoying his? He's in Italy right now, just on the water.
I don't know, but Gary,
Yeah, guys. So just a quick heads up for the 1,300 of you in here. We're not going to do what we did last offseason because we were thinking to ourselves last year, I mean, what the hell do people want us to talk about? But then when you really get serious, we were talking baseball all winter meetings. We were talking baseball all during spring training, all winter. We're going to give you guys coverage. We're not exactly sure. We'll explain, obviously, what the schedule will be. But, Zach, we really appreciate the super and the support. I want to get to Slim Lewis here because I had him burnt into the screen.
Yeah, let's get to the point where at the end of this, the comment can be whatever. It's suggestion box time.
Okay.
Whatever. All right, so how about this? The comment at the end of this, and this is a comment. Don't put it in the chat because we won't be able to see it after the fact. So in the comments after this ends, and we're probably not even close to it ending, so don't worry. But after this ends, drop your favorite thing about Yankees Unloaded, drop something we can improve about Yankees Unloaded, and drop something you want to see on Yankees Unloaded. And that can be like when you want to see a show, like whatever. Just
scheduling. It can be more guests.
Yes.
It could be anything. So we'll remind you guys at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Slim Lewis with the 5. Again, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video. Helps us out a ton. Slim says Boone manages and talks like a guy who knows his job is secure, and the Yankees right now are a cash grab / scam team. They are more about money than wins. They care about wins. They don't care about October winning because in reality, they make plenty money doing what they just did. But if they win 92, 93 games, they're going to be with the current format. They're going to get into a wild card. If
it's
you
a crapshoot,
have
right, Gary?
They call it a crapshoot.
Yeah,
they call
ridiculous.
it a crapshoot, and they come out on top in the crapshoot of wild card. They go into the division series. They play 4 games. They expected to go deeper. Really, if the Yankees get into the championship series, they make all the money they needed. That's all it is. So, Slim, they care about regular season wins. This is why every time you guys say we should fire Aaron Boone, and they say, we're going to gaslight you with how many regular season wins we had. Because they pile up wins against bad teams, and they get beat by the good ones. We get beat by the Jays. We got beat by Boston. We got beat by the Dodgers. We don't beat the good teams. We didn't beat the good teams this year, and we ran into one of those good teams, and we went home. So, Slim, you are absolutely right, and obviously Slim with back-to-back supers, thank you again for the 5, says Dominguez gets 1 at-bat in 2 postseasons and doubles in the gap. Can't make this shit up. They pinch hit for Volpe to protect him from being booed. Well, I did see the comment earlier where somebody said that John Boy claimed that Boone said he didn't say it, but I guess Boone isn't a huge fan of Volpe. That is just not true. It is the most inaccurate thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm not saying anything to bash any report, none of it. That's not true. If you didn't like Anthony Volpe, the player, very easy to find a reason not to play him. They just simply wouldn't have played him.
Yeah, Gary, what is it, that meme template on Twitter? It's like, if there's one fan, I'm the fan or whatever.
If he's
there's
got
no
one
more
hater,
fans, then I'm dead. That right there is Boone. There is not anybody on planet Earth. I think Boone likes Volpe more than his own parents do.
Yeah, you can't make the claim that Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, who had Caballero on the roster, which will be fair, Caballero's bat did slow down at the end of the regular season, and they turned it into a timeshare, and that started to really work out. But once you went in October and you watched what Volpe's at-bats looked like the last week and a half, you mean to tell me anyone other than someone who just loves a player? Same thing with Grisham. He wanted to play this. The guys who played, he wanted to play. That's what they did. So I don't want to hear that Boone didn't like him. It's just total hogwash. Ninja Hot Dog with the 2 says, by the way, guys, I left 2 voicemails because I timed out in the first. Yeah, Mark told me this something very similar. So obviously we got some passion. Yeah, 3-minute passion-filled voicemails. So Ninja, we do appreciate that voicemail.
And then Teabag, Wells really swung at the first pitch, loaded bases. Yeah, that.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I saw people on Twitter trying to justify it. Well, the first pitch is the best pitch you're going to see. I would actually sometimes agree with you. I would. But here's the deal.
It's fluid.
How often does Wells swing at the first pitch? This is not the first time we've talked about Wells swinging at the first pitch in a close game with the bases loaded or whatever.
Whose fault is it?
Do you think, because I believe the Blue Jays knew Austin Wells swings at the first pitch, and they purposely let one out there, breaking ball. It's not his best pitch, but it was something that would get him to offer. Because
I feel like that's a basic game plan. If George Springer swings first pitch all the time. Jose Altuve swings first pitch all the time. There's nothing wrong with swinging first pitch. And you notice how I named two great players, and then there's Austin Wells over here in the corner. But those players didn't just decide before the ball comes out the hand, I'm offering it, whatever the hell comes out his hand. It's going to be a fastball middle.
Yeah.
They actually register the pitch that they were looking for, and then they swing. That's the difference. So they're good enough players to deal with that responsibility. Jake, I want to ask you a question. Austin Wells went up to the plate thinking he was allowed to do that. Who do you put more responsibility? Is it simply on the players understanding? And I'm not trying to steer you one direction or the other, so I don't want to make it seem like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's Austin Wells' fault for just going up there and having his own individual game plan that was stupid? Or do you put any responsibility on the manager for telling his players what the game plan's going to be?
Well, let me ask you this. After you score a touchdown in the NFL, do you just get to go for two without the coach's approval?
No.
I don't think he told Austin Wells. And I think that falls on coaching. I do. I don't know for sure, but I mean, because look, you go up 3-0, there's only certain guys on this team that are allowed to swing. We know that. That's obvious. You don't have the green light if you're Anthony Volpe. God, you don't have the green light if you're Anthony Volpe. But I mean, I could honestly have even seen them trying to get Wells to be aggressive. I don't agree with the way they're running this team, okay? We didn't talk about Mike Fishman fired. Get rid of him. Get rid of the whole analytical staff. You guys are not it. The hitting coach, James Rowson, you're gone. Gone. I don't care. Oh, he came up with the Yankees, and I don't care. I do not care. Marcus Timms was with the Yankees.
What if he was born in the New York area? I'm so tired of hearing that storyline. Oh, he was born in the Jersey area. He's a local. I could not care less about any of that. Stop.
He's not local to me. You know who's local to me? Jeff Hoffman. Okay? And I wanted Jeff Hoffman this offseason, and the Yankees decided nope. And he just ended their season. So yeah, I don't you can miss me with the local thing.
So technically speaking, Jake, people think, oh, well, do you want your manager to walk up to the plate and be like, hey, you should swing here. Hey, you should definitely consider not swinging here. No, this is a pre-game thing.
Yeah.
When you hear Gausman, right? When you hear Gausman say,
you know, like, hey, this is the game plan, just so you know.
Gausman said we were too aggressive in the first game, surprisingly aggressive. Before the game, it should have been communicated and just understood. If your players understand it, then maybe you don't need to talk to them. But they clearly didn't understand it after watching the first 5 outs of the game. If you watch the game, you'd say, we're too aggressive. Hey, guys, bring it in here. We need to be more. You guys need to let the game come to you. They don't need to freak out. Let the game come to you. He'll put you in position where you guys can do your damage at some point in this game. Don't try to force it early in the at-bat. All right, cool. You move on. We didn't do that. And meanwhile, Boone will say, oh, we almost communicate too much. What do you guys talk about? What do you talk about in these group chats? Are you just FaceTiming and shooting the breeze, talking about fantasy football? Or do you need to talk more about what the game plan should be against certain opponents for certain players? You have everyone's phone number. Tell them what they need to know about their game. That's what Boone should be doing, and he didn't do it. So it sucks. Apex with the 2 says build 2026 Rice, JD, Jones, eat G's contract, walk V.
I'm going to say they're not going to eat G's contract under any circumstances. He did have a 944 OPS. He hit in the 270s this year. He was fantastic. It's frustrating. He's also really carried the load in the postseason. I was upset. I wasn't saying to get rid of him. I was just whatever. Walk V, who's that?
It's probably Walk Vladdy or Volpe.
Yeah, well, I mean, Volpe can walk to wherever the hell he's going to walk. I don't care.
He can walk anywhere.
He could be sent. What do you say? Express.
Oh yeah, Amazon Prime.
To Abu Dhabi.
Yep, I would send him Amazon Prime
to
India. Never see him again. But guys, by the way, I want to bring up something to you because Jake, we talked about, and I cannot stand the Yankees' approach of building lineups with 235 hitters, 225 hitters who have pop, who hit 25 plus home runs, and take bad postseason at bats. Now, Spencer Jones, this is again doesn't have anything to do. This isn't an indictment on him personally. I am high on what Spencer Jones can do in the regular season, but Spencer Jones is built more like a Yankee in how they go about their business. I would be curious to know if the Yankees do go more contact-oriented, do they bring in Spencer Jones and force him to play a more contact brand of baseball, or do they just bring him in here and look for him to replace what Trent Grisham did? Hit 34 homers, hit 241, and strike out a ton. Is that what they're looking for? So I hear a lot of Spencer Jones as if he's not going to do almost exactly what Trent Grisham did this year. So I'm curious what you thought about that because I'm looking for contact, and clearly Jones doesn't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. He was doing that. I think the back issue that he was dealing with kind of threw him off and kind of ruined his season. But I mean, he had a great season this year. I mean, we're talking 35 home runs, 80 RBIs, 29 stolen bases, a 933 OPS, and a 274 batting average in 438 at bats. I was really impressed with the strides he made. Cut the strikeouts down, but I've told you this. I've stood by it. I don't care about the strikeouts, guys. I really never have. A strikeout is not a double play. Okay? I want them to put it in play. I do. But if the average ends up being 274 and he strikes out a lot, I don't care. Aaron Judge.
Well, no, everyone agrees. If he hits 275, that's a high average in today's baseball.
Yeah,
but if Spencer Jones shows up and
strikeout
hits,
numbers.
No, they do. But I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to say they know 275 in the minor leagues isn't 275 in the big leagues. So what they're trying to say is, if you gave us 275 in the big leagues, we would not care. We wouldn't care about the strikeouts. Aaron Judge struck out a lot. We didn't care. But when you look up and you see 240, but you still get pop, people will care about the strikeouts because you've just become another Trent Grisham type guy who's still a big leaguer, still valuable in the regular season, but we need more
he
J's
was
at
important.
bats.
He was important. He won some games for the Yankees.
He did.
I'm not going to sit here and say that we're frustrated. We know that these guys had a role. But in the postseason, Trent Grisham had a chance to come back to this team. They are not bringing him back after that.
No.
I'm sorry. There's no way. There's nothing redeemable to bring back after that. And I'll tell you this right now. Gary, I don't know if Jason Dominguez's stock has ever been higher. The whole fan base, the whole chat, everybody's like, I want to see J-Dom. It's amazing.
Because they want to see his approach.
Yes.
So that's why you bring up a great point. If the fan base wants to see more players who can hit 270, they're not going to hit 30 homers, but they're more likely to take a Toronto Blue Jays-esque at-bat where they'll slap a single with 2 strikes and they're a tough at-bat, a lot of foul balls, just a grinded-out approach at the plate. And again, this was his rookie year, but it's early on in his career. He's 22 years old. But having said that, he's more of a brand that I think fans want. And Spencer Jones isn't. Now, again, this isn't me saying, oh, they should just sell on Spencer Jones before he gets here. However, we need to be wary of what he is and how we need to manage him, because you can't just tell him it's good enough to show up and be a Yankee, play good defense, hit 231, strike out 214 times. It's good to hit 35-plus homers, but it's not valuable in October. It's pretty much useless, actually. You're a regular season bandit if that's going to be him. So the Yankees need to know what they're developing and how they're going to go about doing that, because it's not good enough to be the next Joey Gallo. And as good of a player as that was in Texas, we don't need any of those. They cannot hit.
I mean,
at this portion of the year. Can't.
If he ends up hitting 238, but he ends up being what Dalton Varsho was in the playoffs, and we were just talking about that, right? There are guys like Ernie Clement you can see that are going to be contributors in the postseason because they already hit for contact. When you have guys like Dalton Varsho that 238, I mean, is Dalton Varsho's numbers not just Jazz Chisholm if he played a little bit of the season? 238, 20 homers, 55 RBIs, 833 OPS. Like, that is literally Jazz if he doesn't play half the year. Well, here's the deal, though. Dalton Varsho, when his best was required, was at his best. And so that's the thing. When they needed, guys to come through, I mean, Judge, look at who was in this lineup in the postseason. Judge hit 500. Judge had a 581 on base, a 692 slugging. Okay? Here are the guys that had a over 300 on base percentage. Ready for this?
I'm ready.
Paul Goldschmidt, 545. That is misleading because he didn't play that much.
He had like 9 at-bats.
Jason Dominguez, 1,000. Only had 1 at-bat.
Nice.
Ryan McMahon, 333.
Another starter. There you go.
And Ahmed Rosario. That's it.
So one other starter.
Yes.
One other starter had a 300 on base.
That's just on base, yes.
That is barbaric.
It is barbaric. And that's the thing. Like, people were getting on Judge last year. Oh, he didn't show up. Well, no one showed up for Judge this year. And then in the postseason, Judge hit 500. How many guys do you think hit above 300 average-wise in this postseason?
Well, 0 other than Aaron Judge.
You'd be right. No,
of
sorry,
course.
Paul Goldschmidt, 444. That's it.
Yeah, no. So if you're on, if your on base percentage isn't 300, your batting average can't be.
What about slugging? So Judge had almost a 700 slugging. So let's just say the benchmark for the slugging.
We'll leave 500s?
We'll put it at 400. We'll make
400.
it easier, right?
Okay.
Because it's too hard, right? So 400 slugging. Rosario had a 400 slugging, but he barely played. McMahon had a 500 slugging. Rice had a 444.
I'd say Wells probably snuck in there.
He did not even close. 227. Paul Goldschmidt, 444. And that's it.
So Ryan McMahon is the only other starter of the 9.
Of the 9.
Right? Aaron Judge, we're going to eliminate him. So there's 8. How many of the 8 players were worth a damn in October? 1. As highly as some of them are paid, as low as some are paid, as much control, as little control, all of the roster, the only guys who were worth a damn came off the bench. The guys that brought excitement to the team that you're like, oh, I like that he's getting in the mix. None of them got in the mix in October. Didn't matter how Grisham played. Didn't matter that Rice struggled. Didn't matter. They just...
Nope. Caballero hit 250, had a hit on 4 at-bats. That's all he got. How about the Blue Jays, though? Right? Let's give them some love.
Yeah.
So here are the batting averages. Lucas, 333. Guerrero, 529. Barger, 333. Kirk, surprisingly, 222. Springer, 176.
I think Kirk had a monstrous start and then just kind of tapered off.
He did. 438 for Varsho, 200 for Santander, 400 for Miles Straw. Ernie Clement with the greatest LDS in MLB history, 643, and 267 for their 9th hitter, Jimenez.
You know what's ironic about this list that you just gave me? Because you listed all of them, which I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the one name who was hired to be the slugger?
Santander.
Doesn't he have by far the worst numbers?
Yeah. I mean,
he is by far the worst
IKF
numbers, guys.
had 0, but he just didn't hit.
But
whatever.
IKF came off the bench.
Yeah.
So-
On base percentage, you ready for this?
Yes.
Springer 250, Lucas 333, Guerrero 550, Barger 333, Kirk was 222, Varsho was 471, Santander was 200, Straw was 500, Clement was 625, and Jimenez, again, ninth in the order, 313.
So you mentioned on base percentage. Did you see the stat today? And I'm sure you did. When a player touches first base, if a player gets on base, for all teams in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays score that runner that's gotten on base more than any team in baseball.
Yep. Oh, forgot to mention Davis Schneider, 333 with a 500 on base and a 500 slugging.
Right. So if you're a pitcher, right, let's just try to wrap a bow on this. If you're a pitcher and you know a team doesn't strike out, if they get to first base, they don't slug a ton, but they will find a way to score the guy who gets to first base. What are you thinking as a pitcher when a hitter's fouling pitches off? You're assuming eventually I'm going to allow one of these guys on base and I'm going to make a mistake just by simply even walking a guy is too much to surrender to this team. You can walk Yankees. The Yankees have traffic all over the base paths. They'll walk with 2 outs. They'll walk. They'll get their walks, and they won't
led the
score
league in
them.
walks.
We lead the league in walks.
It didn't
We don't
matter.
score those guys. We just don't. We don't score those guys,
No.
especially in important games. In important games, the Yankees will have first and second with 1 out, bases loaded. You saw it in this postseason. Nobody out. They find ways to screw up those innings more than any other team in baseball, because they're not built to take those at-bats and have an expectation of batting average, getting a hit. It's not how they're built. So thank you. Really appreciate the super with the 10. Says, appreciate you guys all year. Ben Rice and J-Dom not playing into the 8th was a crime.
Agreed. Thank you, Francois. Appreciate you. Burned into the screen there.
Sure did.
Scotty boy. Why pinch hit Jason in the 9th and not even pinch run him a lot earlier? I think it was done to protect Volpe from booing. Pitiful. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. We've had 2 supers where somebody has brought this up, protect him from booing. Like it's like some like ray cannon that would like just disintegrate him.
Which he shouldn't be here anyway, so who cares if he's booed? By the
Yeah,
way,
I don't care.
I wanted to bring up, because I was sort of mentioning it, it's ironic that the one player on the Jays roster who is the most, like, if you really had to look at the Jays roster and say who's the most Yankee hitter on their team, it's by far and away Santander. Far and away. The 225 hitter.
They tried to
who
get
will
him.
hit. They tried to get him. 45 homers, has a career year. You're going to buy high. The Jays did that.
That was such a bad
It
signing.
was the dumbest signing ever. Ironic that arguably, I mean, he's one of the highest paid players on their team. He's their worst hitter on the roster. And he's the guy that can hit 45 homers, hit 225, hit bad pitching during the regular season. Santander was doing that in Baltimore, hitting bad pitching. And does he have some homers against good? Sure. But he's not the guy you want up there with man on third and second with 1 out, nobody out. He's not going to get a job done. That's a Yankee right there. Ironic that guy hit 200 with an ops of 400 in October against us. And then all of the Clements and the Varshows and the Lukes, all the singles hitters that are just simply trying to get on base and wreak havoc, those guys did us in. It's perfect. So I'm not rooting for the Yankees to lose. We just don't do that here. But I will tell you, once it's all said and done and we've lost, I love the fact that we lost to something the Yankees refuse to buy into. I love it.
So here's some stuff about the Blue Jays, right?
Yeah.
Nathan Lucas, because I had to look this up. was a spring training invite in 2021.
Okay.
He became a free agent, and the Blue Jays signed him to a minor league contract. So they turned him into this. Andres Jimenez, you'll remember, that was bizarre. The Guardians traded him away. He has like the craziest defensive runs saved in the league. And they traded him away for Spencer Horwitz, I believe. So, and some other guys, Nick Mitchell as well. So, yeah, they got Andres Jimenez via that trade right before the season. And then who was the other one? Davis Schneider. I'm pretty sure, I'm looking that up right now. I'm pretty sure that was the Rule 5 draft. No, they drafted him in the 28th round of the 2017 MLB draft. So,
and the Yanks are freaked out about losing their compensate, like whatever. They're like, hey, we went over the limit. We can't get our picks. I'm like, who cares?
What about Ernie Clement, the guy who just Marco Scudero'd the LDS?
Oh, that will be funny.
Minor league contract was released by the Athletics. The Marco Scudero effect, it lives.
And he was drafted in 2017 by Cleveland in the 4th round.
What the hell is all these freaking attachments to Cleveland?
It is weird.
They're like attached to Cleveland, man. I don't get it, but yeah, you got to tip your cap to them. They deserve it. They're the better team. This is good for baseball. Yankees hopefully will learn because they learned from the Dodgers to a degree. Now they got to continue the lesson, okay? I think contact, if you take anything away from this show, this offseason, Gary and I don't know how we're going to do it, but we are going to do some shows. We're going to be talking about free agents. They need to get contact in this building.
I saw there were a lot of people upset about Kyle Tucker not digging the Kyle Tucker signing. I think part of it is they're saying that he had a down year this year, right? He dealt with the hand injury.
Yeah, and he played through it and really didn't want to miss any time, and it cost him. Like, it actually killed his numbers. But if he didn't get that injury, I mean, if he didn't get the injury, or if he just took time and took, because keep in mind, when he's playing with it, it made it harder for him to come back. I don't think he ever got back to 100%. Before that, he was looking really good. So, I mean, me personally, it depends on the money, Gary. You know, I'm not trying to shell out tons of money to Kyle Tucker, just for the sake of doing it. Like, it has to make sense. What is his market? Like, I'm not going to $700 million, but like, what's his market? What do you think?
We're honestly not sure what his market is, because the thing about Kyle Tucker, and we're not going to go long on this, but Tucker in 2024 with Houston wasn't healthy, right? Drove in 80, hit 290. He was essentially having a Hall of Fame type season.
Yeah.
For half the year. That's how long he was available in 2024. Houston decided we're not going to keep this guy. He has 1 year remaining. A team that said we're going to go for it in 2025. All we need Luis Gil, right? And then we can get the conversation started. The Yankees said no to that, and they moved on, shipped him to the Chicago Cubs. They're going for it, and they're currently still in the dance. But Jake, when you look up and you see a player, he hasn't driven in over 100 since 2023. It's been 2 years, right? And that's due to injury. Am I going to give a player $500, $400 million, however much money, right? It's going to be hundreds of million, that hasn't proven he can stay available? That's the biggest problem with Kyle Tucker. It is. He can defend, he can throw the ball, he can run, he can do everything you really need him to do, but he's not the perfect signing. Like, he's not a Mookie Betts out on the market. It's not this guy that every single year he's available. Like, a Freddie Freeman was a perfect example of that. He became available on the market, and the Yankees didn't even go after him, matter of fact. And it's ridiculous. He was a perfect signing. He hits for average. He hits for power. He plays 162 games a year, every single year. There was nothing wrong with the asset. Kyle Tucker does have some flaws, but Jake, the final thing I'll say, Kyle Tucker's never struck out over 100 times in his entire career in a season. So
Oh boy,
they're
strucken out. You're gonna get it in the comments section after this one.
Oh, if somebody needs to correct that, they can kiss my ass. But
did you see when I said that the other day? And I had like
yes,
three
I
people?
saw it, and there were a couple people I commented back to, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing sitting here defending Jake? This is so stupid. If somebody needs to correct that,
I was literally cackling like the Joker.
Yes. So he's never struck out more than 95 times. So when you're looking for a player who can hit at a high clip with runners in scoring position, more of a contact-oriented guy, something more Cody Bellinger-esque, more Aaron Judge-esque, there it is, right? Juan Soto was that in 2024. We saw how that was working out in New York. It worked out for us. There he is. He's flawed. How much is that going to cost? We'll talk about all that. There's no perfect signing for the Yankees. That's the thing. There's no perfect free agent signings. They're either 32 years old and maybe on the back end you have to pay them till they're 40, or they've got injury history. Take your pick.
What's so bizarre is Kyle Tucker's a perfect fit for the Yankees. He's actually not a good postseason player at all.
No, he's not.
226, 306, 362 with a 667 OPS. Not good. That's in 69 games. I actually think if the Yankees want to change their course, they want to actually have. Well, that's one of them.
Quan would be the best trade we could ever make.
I disagree, and here's why. I'm gonna one up you, and I know you'll like it because you've liked him too. Ketel Marte.
Yeah, Ketel Marte would be great.
Ketel Marte in the postseason is hitting 344, 385, 589 with a 974 OPS. So basically, Ketel Marte in 21 games is just who he is during the regular season.
That's great.
Yeah, that's just
we're looking for a more contact-oriented player that we can buy into to take these key at-bats. If there's runners in scoring position, is he going to waste an at-bat hunting to hit a home run, or can he do the stuff in between? Ketel Marte can do that. Quan can do that at the top of the lineup. The Yankees need more contact-oriented players. I think that's going to be the key. So, guys, if you want us to sign a guy,
I wish he was
for
younger,
example,
though.
If
He's
Kyle Schwarber,
turn 32 on Sunday.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's always going to be the flaw. Yep. Any player who could be potentially available is going to be 30.
No, I
31,
absolutely agree.
32. What player can possibly be available who wouldn't be 30? Who? There's nobody in baseball.
That's why Juan Soto was so expensive. It was just different.
They're like, oh, they gave him $800 million. That's technically true, but that's for 15 years. So you have to divide his contract. It's an absurd amount of money. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But when you look at like an Aaron Judge, if you totaled him out for 15 years, his number would look ridiculous as well. It would look absurd. So that's just kind of what comes with the territory of those long deals. Players just aren't available in their mid to late 20s because more times than not, people say, well, why would we trade him to the Yankees or why would we trade him to a contender? We would just hang on to him. We did this with Jose Ramirez. Everyone's like, we want Jose Ramirez. He's 27 and he hits 330 and has pop and he's healthy all the time. Okay, well, why would they trade him? And they didn't.
Steven Kwan would be such a perfect fit.
Oh, he'd be great. He'd be great.
If they got Steven Kwan, though, I'd have to imagine that they let Bellinger walk.
Okay.
That's what I think. Because I could actually see them doing that move in the offseason if they lose Bellinger. I could. Mm-hmm. Think about this, right? The Guardians got off to that crazy run at the end of the season. And if they lose here against Detroit, do they just go back to where they were trying to sell him at the deadline? Let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago that they were trying to trade him. They were trying to trade. They might have known a little something about what was going on with Class A, but they were trying to trade
Dodgers were
Class A
inches. The Dodgers were inches from trading for Steven Kwan.
Yeah.
They were working on it. It didn't happen. They wanted to replace Conforto, but it goes to show you that Cleveland was open for business. So, again, we're not telling you that the Yankees are going to go trade for Kwan. We have no idea what the hell they're going to do.
Have a lot of pitching that team would be very interested in. You look at
I
Heel,
would completely
you look
agree.
At Warren, you look at Schmidt. I could really see a team trading for Schmidt, even though he's injured. The Yankees traded for injured Harrison Bader. Yankees got a whole freaking minor league that's really intact because, like I said, they didn't really move anybody at the deadline.
No, they have all the ammunition they could have had. They do. Teabag with the 2, because we really got to get caught up on these supers, man. We've got a lot.
40 of them.
Yeah.
Well, 30.
Teabag with the 2. He says, do you see Volpe swinging 3 weighted bats? I see that all the time. He was using a torpedo bat for the whole year.
Did nothing.
It didn't do a damn thing for Anthony Volpe. Will he be doing it next year? Will he be part of the team? This might be the one player I genuinely don't believe anyone in our comment section, Jake, you and I don't think anyone knows what the Yankees are going to do with Anthony Volpe. If he's going to be starting next year or if he's just non-tendered and just let go. We have no clue, but he's not a good baseball player. And I understand that people want to make it seem like it's really hard to be a good baseball player in Major League Baseball, and that's true. But these guys are paid a lot of money to be good baseball players and to play for the Yankees. I'm not going through arbitration and paying Anthony Volpe millions of dollars to come do this again. I don't need an encore of this. I don't. I watched what the hell do you call it? The Sandlot, right? Good film. Sandlot 2. Once I saw that, I didn't need a third one. It didn't need to happen. Okay? This Anthony Volpe thing, thank you for making the attempt, right? We didn't go get Lindor. We didn't make that trade with Cleveland. We didn't go get Seager. Okay, nice work. Now fix it. I don't need you to try and solve Volpe. Solve the shortstop. That's your first plan of attack. But yeah, Teabag, we did see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm over it. I mean, Alfonso Soriano was one of my all-time favorite players. Came up through the farm system, was a huge prospect, right? Ends up being an all-star, although all-star doesn't matter, but he was very, very good. He, in 2,000 at-bats, Gary, okay?
Yep.
He actually averaged 19 home runs a year, right on the same level as Volpe, right?
Yep.
86 strikeouts a season. Obviously, Volpe has more than that.
That's Kyle Tucker-esque.
Yeah. 284 batting average, okay? And an 824 OPS. He's nothing on the level of Soriano. He's never shown any bit to be as good as Andujar. Why does he continue to get a leash? That's what I don't understand. Like, it's not like he's the first top prospect ever. Like, he's a bust.
I don't know. What do you think it is? Because obviously you have people making reports that Boone didn't like Volpe. That's just
no
complete nonsense hogwash.
Zero chance.
We know Brian Cashman clearly doesn't dislike him. We heard him preseason. He's like, when he starts hitting again, what are you going to say then? What do you think he thinks
about
Volpe?
Something funny?
Come on. I feel like I wouldn't want to hear this, but yeah, go ahead.
So I had to look it up. Miguel Andujar finally, through 9 years, has 1682 at-bats. So you can actually make a comparison to Anthony Volpe.
Oh, okay. So that's close. Probably like 300 more at-bats. Okay.
Yeah. So this is crazy. I might even bring this up. No, it's going to mess everything up, so I won't. But anyway, so Anthony Volpe, right? Okay, so 1780 plate appearances for Miguel Andujar. Volpe has 1886. Now, Volpe is a way better defender, okay? No doubt about it. That was why Andujar was gone. But the bat matters. Andujar has 474 hits. Mm-hmm. Mind you, he has fewer plate appearances.
Yep.
474 hits to Anthony Volpe's 382.
It's not even close.
He has one more home run. He has 223 RBIs to Anthony Volpe's 192. He doesn't steal bases, so Volpe takes the cake there, 70-13. This is where it gets crazy, because I think people just kind of assumed Andujar sucked. Like, oh, yeah, he hurt his shoulder. He never recovered. It's not really true. He just wasn't a good defender. 282 batting average for his career. I don't think people realize that's pretty good. Volpe's is now down to 222. On base percentage, 315. Not great. Volpe's is now down to 283. Slugging, 441. Volpe's is 379. OPS is 755 for Andujar. Volpe's is 662. And if you're into OPS plus, which I'm not, I personally hate it. I even hate that I'm about to mention it. 107 for Miguel Andujar. I'm told anything over 100 is good. I don't know. I think it's a stupid metric. Volpe's is 84. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and say Miguel Andujar is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I thought it was fair to compare the two now that they have had similar, 1682 to 1717 at bats. It's
the fact that you're even able, Jake, to present a comparison goes to show you the lack of ceiling we've seen from Volpe. Anthony Volpe is absolutely a bust. The reason he's here, because you actually brought that question to the surface, and I'll answer it real quick here. Mm-hmm. The reason he's here is because of what they said no to for him to be here. They said no to Seager. They said no to Lindor. They said no to everybody.
Trey Turner.
They said no to Trey Turner. They said no to trading for Luis Castillo and sending him to get him. And yet we look today, Castillo would be far and away our two. Or I guess you can say our ace. Castillo can be trusted in October to pitch games. More than Fried and more than Rodon. And we said no to trading Anthony Volpe. Now, just to tell you and wrap a bow on it, could you imagine if we called Seattle and said, hey, what would you say if we traded you Anthony Volpe and you send us Castillo? They'd say, they'd hang up the phone right in your face. That shows you the value of what we have in the building today versus what we were intending to get. That also means we would have had Castillo in an opening at shortstop to go sign one of the remaining free agents, which probably, if I'm being honest, was Corey Seager. That would have been the player that the Yankees signed. Left-handed bat for Yankee Stadium, contact-oriented, 280 plus. Has injury history. It's a little cheaper, but it ended up being $300 million. That's who you sign. So it was Corey Seager and Castillo. Those would have been the two players through the building. Instead, it's Anthony Volpe. So now the Yankees, once they made that decision, they wanted to wait and wait and wait to get the last laugh and say, we made the right choice throughout the years. Exactly what they did with Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper becomes a free agent. They said, no. We've got Brett Gardner. And Brett Gardner, yeah, he's not a replacement on Harper, but paying Harper $330 million, we don't want another mega contract like Stanton. We've got a DH. He can't play first base. Here he is playing first base, by the way. The Yankees will tell you, I'm going to make this choice. It ends up being clearly the wrong choice. And then they'll waterboard you for 5 years trying to prove to you that they made the right choice, and it only makes it worse. That's why Anthony Volpe plays. If they really weren't doing that, Anthony Volpe would have been traded a year and a half ago. He'd have been gone. But he's not gone, and they want to be right about this guy. And I think that rope should end this offseason. We'll see if it does. David with the 10 says, I feel bad for Judge at this point. Jake, now I do. Now Aaron Judge needs help. It's not all Baboon's fault. It starts with Hal not giving a crap. Hopefully we get some dogs next season. Thank you guys for the season. David, thank you for the super and supporting the channel. Have to imagine that, yeah. You have to imagine that nothing's going to change. It's not what you want. We've still got Hal at the helm. Matthew Miller with the 20, some orange. Thank you, Matthew. We really appreciate that. Says Volpe has to go. We have to sign Tucker or Belly. We also need 1 to 2 bats like Clement. So obviously contact-oriented. There you go. We need contact, guys, and a better two-strike approach. I like a lot of pieces, but we have to be better at baseball, not analytics. We'll really answer this when we get to our offseason, when we start talking about who the Yankees should sign, and obviously those will be more productive conversations and just peeling back the finances of what we're, because we have to imagine they're going to go in with a budget, and we have to work under that budget. So we'll talk about all that. It's not what it should be.
The fake $300 million payroll that they're only getting $230 million out of.
It shouldn't exist, but we're aware that it does, thanks to Hal Steinbrenner. We're also aware that some in our comment section are thinking, no, I think losing to the Jays might piss Hal off enough and have lost him enough money not going to the championship series or potentially the World Series enough where Hal will go scorched earth and get pissed off, get Tucker, go get whoever else, trade for Quan, right? Make whatever aggressive moves you potentially can make. That's not going to happen. So I'm just here to tell you guys right now, we've been talking about the Cashman putting his hoodie over his head and I'm going to go full operational Death Star. They haven't done what they claimed they were going to do a singular time. Not one time.
Yeah,
so,
by the way,
very
I'd like
disappointing.
to see them get out in front. Like, good teams will still use the trade deadline. Good teams don't need to add 6 or 7 guys to a 26-man roster during the trade deadline. I felt like he was like so focused on Juan Soto that he didn't even bother going. The bullpen was barely addressed. They traded for Devin Williams, but they didn't really sign anybody. They got Ryan Yarbrough, who was with the Blue Jays.
Said no to Robertson, by the way, and for over $6 million. He was just a signing.
Yeah.
The Yankees were not aggressive in the offseason and then went into the deadline and were like, no, we're a World Series team, and then proceeded to add 5 players.
Yeah,
it's not an equation that it doesn't equate
and they
to
won
being a
94
good team.
games despite the fact. So it's like that's where people will be like, oh, maybe Boone's getting the most out of. No, they all have to go. Eduardo Nunez, by the way, remember him?
I do remember him. Yeah.
The same amount of at-bats. He's hitting 273 in those at-bats. Obviously, he's been retired, but 273 and a 718 OPS. So even Eduardo Nunez, another player the Yankees gave up on that they had high hopes for, had better numbers than Anthony Volpe for this amount of at-bats.
Yeah, which I'm fine, by the way, giving up on Eduardo Nunez, and so are you.
Yeah.
It's okay to give up on some of these players who, frankly, are role players. We're the Yankees. If you want to get rid of a player that hits 275, who is still he's a professional, he's a good player.
Yeah.
But you can replace him with star talent, right? Not everyone can be a star, but if you replace something, I should be able to make the assumption that you're replacing whatever that is with much better. Much better. That person who plays and is a starter for the Yankees, they better be good. We spent an entire year of Yankees baseball watching Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's a third baseman, play shortstop for the Yankees.
Gold glove third baseman.
Yes, a Gold Glove third baseman. We moved him to shortstop. They called it a stopgap. Michael Kay continues to say it, and I will not let it go. What did you expect, Bobby Witt Jr.? Yes.
Yep.
Yes. If you have a stopgap shortstop for an entire year of a major market organization, that player who's showing up better be an all-star level baseball player. If they're not an all-star, perennial all-star player, mission failed. Mission failed. There's no reason to spend a year, 162 games, waiting on a player to show up who's not going to be great. You mean to tell me I couldn't expect greatness? I expected greatness. And the fact that he's not only is he not great, he's one of the worst baseball players in the league. He is. He just plays every day. And most players of his level, his caliber, they don't play every day.
Cheater. No, he's not even the next Didi Gregorius.
Not even close. Didi Gregorius is miles better.
Runs. Yeah, Didi hit 32 home runs in a season with the New York Yankees. I have I mean, it's kind of insane. I have the numbers here, like put the at-bats together. He had more home runs than Volpe to this point. 276, just with the Yankees, by the way. This is just with the Yankees. His first 1,600 plus at-bats. 276, 313 on base, 745 OPS.
And he was a very good defender, by the way,
yes.
in Didi Gregorius. Very good defender.
No, he had a
so we don't want to
9.4
shortchange
WAR.
that.
So it's like, I'm not a big WAR guy, but you can't get a big WAR if you're not good, like, defending-wise. So, yeah, I mean, that's obviously, you know that, because that's why Anthony Volpe has been pushed on us like a silver platter. It's like, oh, you see his WAR? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, WAR means nothing. Marion,
by the way,
thank you for the 5. What's up?
He averaged 1 win above replacement higher than Volpe for his entire career. So Didi's 3 years with New York, an entire win above replacement for Anthony Volpe.
And there wasn't a stopgap shortstop to wait on Didi Gregorius. We just brought him here because that's the level of player that you're talking about. It's what it was. And nobody was concerned that Didi wasn't Derek Jeter. I think we all knew he wasn't Derek Jeter. We knew that when he showed up. And people said it was a tough job to take on. But him being serviceable, we were happy with it. Didi Gregorius was loved in New York. Loved.
Yeah.
So to act like he had to be Bobby Witt Jr. is just complete hogwash. Marion with the 5 says, I've enjoyed watching your podcast all season. Marion, thank you for welcome back. Says, thanks for bringing it every night. For those of you who don't know, we go live after every single Yankees game. And we're going to be going live still a lot this offseason. We've got a lot to talk about, especially if there's firing. So we'll see what happens. Marion says, thanks for bringing it every night. Keep up the good work. Signed, your favorite Marlins fan ever. Marion, really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Marion. Every single night we have the same people. We always have new people, but we always have the same people. We got Marion, right? We got Platypus. We got B-Rye. We got Welkin. I don't know where Willie Downer went.
Willie Downer.
Okay. I'm praying for him.
Yeah.
Like everyone, right? We got our favorite Dodger fan, Virtual, right? I mean, just so many people that make this work. Ninja Hot Dog, Fishman 432. I mean, the list goes on. So
is Virtual going to be showing up to Yankee Stadium when we do our obviously we're going to meet a lot of our audience, right? I'd be curious because obviously Virtual is a Dodgers fan.
Guy, yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I hope he does make it to the stadium. That'd be great. William V with the 10. William, thank you for the 10. Says, fire Boone, no more Volpe, and unsure Wells needs to stay. Judge was great. No complaints there. Aaron Judge was awesome. I couldn't be happier for him, honestly. At least he can take a breather and walk around New York knowing that he's the man. And postseason, regular season, that Barstool headline is dead. So we can be done with it. Weaver and Devin gone. Please don't re-sign them. Not sure about Cashman. Grisham should be gone
I
too.
like this because we get a chance to talk about these guys.
Let's talk Weaver and Devin Williams.
Devin Williams should be brought back tomorrow.
I'm going to say this. I signed Devin Williams if it's a 1-year deal. I know he's not the closer. I know Bednar is my closer all year. But I know he's not going to accept the role that we're going to give him. I still am standing on this. I think Devin Williams is a Dodger. Their closer situation is a nightmare. They're just hitting their way through it anyways against Philadelphia. But I just have a feeling that Devin Williams is going to find a way to be the closer of the Dodgers in 2026. But Weaver, you can put him on a rocket and send him wherever. I don't want him back here. I don't want him. I don't.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with him. I understand that sounds wishy-washy. I know he was banged up, but he doesn't have a lot to the point where that works. But when he also wasn't like a premier pitcher. He's not a guy that you go into that game and you've already done a ton of film on. You know what I mean? So I feel like, to be honest, I think people saw what he did the postseason. It put a target on his back. Hitters started to see what he throws, and I think they picked up on him pretty quickly. And he, like I said, that juice has been squeezed out. Like, he doesn't have much else. He doesn't have a lot of different places he can go in. So,
any chance they view him like Loizaga? Because Loizaga, they've tried to squeeze the lemon past the point of squeezing it. And
I mean, I could still...
We even said at the beginning of the year, Loizaga is probably not something to be trusted. They brought him back anyways for millions of dollars.
Here's the weird thing. Luke Weaver was not pitched tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They specifically avoided him and went to Doval. Now, that's something you and I would do, and we talked about this. I was surprised Boone did that. So, I kind of have a feeling they're going to bring him back and just chalk it up to, yeah, he was banged up at the end of the year, whatever. But, yeah, I don't think I'd bring him back. But Devin Williams,
think he will be back, to your point. I think he's multi-inning. I think Weaver's back. I think Devin Williams is gone.
I think Devin Williams is gone, but I think they should bring him back. I actually ended up really liking him. The booing and all the frustrations with him, totally justified. Like, he had his moments. but you never saw that guy quit. That, to me, I really took that to heart because I felt like there were a lot of people that kind of looked at him like he was a punk. He comes in, he changes our culture with the facial hair. It wasn't just him. This had been something for a long time. But, I feel like we haven't really seen a guy go through that type of season that prominent and then in the postseason when it matters, be able to put it together. And I know people are going to bring up, tonight and he gave up runs. Look, I still think he got the job done and Jazz messed up the double play, right? Because he should have had that. He should have been out of the inning. But all things aside, I really liked what I saw from Devin Williams. I think you can build off of what you saw in the postseason. I think if you keep him with Matt Blake, it's no different than like a quarterback staying with the same offensive coordinator. I think he was working on some new things with Blake, and I think you started to see that down the stretch. So I think it'd be a mistake to just let him go.
No, I think the big problem, Weaver's not a closer anymore. Okay, yeah. He's in that, what would I call it? He's in that hybrid role. Weaver's in the role where I can come out in the 7th. I'll go get you the 3 outs in the 7th when I'm pitching well. And I'll come and get the first out of the 8th. Or I can go 2 outs in the 8th, and then you bring your closer in maybe for a 4-out save. But I can help bridge to your closer. That was Weaver's expected role coming into the year. Now, Devin Williams, and this is the reason why I don't think he'll be back. It's not that I thought he was horrible to finish the season. I actually had him somewhat in my circle of trust, not to be Mariano, but to be good enough where you're not just a joke at the end of games. Devin Williams wasn't a joke at the end of games for the Yankees for the past month. Now, I want to say this. Devin Williams isn't going to make the money that he wants to make, and I'm not going to blame him if you're out of the closer's role. That role is David Bednar. He's the closer this year, he's the closer next year, and the year after that. So if you sign here with the Yankees, Devin Williams knows, I'm in a contract year. If I have to sign a 1-year deal because I had a down year, I want to reset my market, improve to Major League Baseball. I'm a closer. And the only way to do that is to play for another team. So I just don't see Devin Williams agreeing to this role. I really almost see it like going to be a third receiver on a team or a second receiver when you can go be a number 1 for somebody in a contract year or a 1-year deal. You're not going to get that number 1 money unless you get the number 1 role. So Devin Williams, proud of how he finished the season. It sucked that obviously it stung him, right? Jazz Chisholm's defense killed him as well. But I wouldn't be pissed off to see him back. I just wouldn't, especially given what I would have said about him 2 months ago. But yeah, credit to him for fighting. It was a contract year. I expected him to fight back at some point. I know you talked about it. You thought that he would throw a punch back at some point. He did. So
yeah.
Credit to him.
By the way, I want to make this point. Closers aren't the same as they used to be. It's not Trevor Hoffman, Mariano Rivera, Fernando Rodney, right? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I would argue because of the way it is in 2025, Devin Williams would be more open than in the past. Because,
I would agree with that.
Because you're seeing guys now. I mean, what did Jeff Hoffman get? He got like $10 million. He wasn't a guaranteed closer either.
No, he wasn't.
So I kind of feel like that's just that's the direction we're going in, where bullpen guys, they know they're gonna get their bread regardless if they're in the 9th, the 8th, or the 7th.
Yeah, like I think Blake Trinan, he's getting his money, not the closer. If you're a good pitcher in the bullpen, you probably just get your money. Weaver, if he had another 2024 season, we're probably bringing him back here, even if he was the closer or not. Like even if Bednar was through the door. 2024 Weaver, how much would we pay for that? Probably $12 million a year. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I think because also, we think about it in terms of a 1 game, right? Every time we think, oh, who's our 8th guy, who's our 9th guy, it doesn't work that way. Bednar could close, but when Bednar can't close, you can go to Devin Williams. See what I'm saying? Like, so there are different ways to do this. I think Boone trusted Devin Williams more than Luke Weaver at the end of the day. I do.
Oh, but we all did.
So, well, yeah, but I mean, Luke Weaver was kind of flesh and blood. Like, he was their project. Like, he had been there.
He was.
Right? And then Devin Williams walks in, and he gets the closer role immediately. Now, I know why, but at the same time, Aaron Boone could have gone against the grain. He's done it before. So he doesn't do it all the time.
You can't win in spite of a bad reliever, though. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Is that Weaver was in that circle of trust. But even if Boone wanted to treat Weaver like this project that they found and it worked out, the way he does with Volpe, Volpe can play the way he played all year, and we can win 94 games.
Yeah.
So you can just say, oh, Volpe's just important, and we can't quantify it. You can't hide a bad pitcher at the end of games. No matter which way you spin it, we'll lose games if you pitch them. So you can tell me you trust him or you pitch him because you like him. Well, we're going home, and Frank's not singing. So that's
Frank's
a problem.
Still singing. He does That's Life. That's the song that they do when they lose now.
It's much better than what it was before.
Do you know I was at the I was at the history game. So I saw Cam Schlittler give up a rocket ship against Detroit. This is at George Steinbrenner Stadium. And then they lost the game. So this is the first time ever that they played That's Life after they had switched it that day. They had switched it from spreading the news. Because it's like, yeah, can we not play like dun, 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 after I had my heart ripped out?
They very clearly
they heard the fans.
Thought it was a tourist attraction to simply play it at the end of games. That is false. Frank should be playing when you win. It should be an event. And so they almost wanted to treat it like it was the 7th inning stretch, right, where they do Sweet Caroline in Boston. That's not what Frank was to signify. It was to signify winning. So I'm glad they changed that.
That's Life, but yes,
but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This one song. Miss Kate Fabe with the 5 says, I get Cashman has certain weaknesses. There's many. But also, I think that he put a good team on the field. I disagree. Boone couldn't manage any team to a World Series. Shit sucks. I will agree with this. The Yankees didn't squeeze the lemon the way that they could with this roster. Having said that, Kate, you cannot tell me that you look at this roster, and I've got it. Well, actually, it just completely ceased to exist on me. Well, I got it right here. You cannot tell me that you watch Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe, Ryan McMahon, who had an impact tonight, right? You cannot tell me that you look at this group and what they've done and say, that's a great roster. I see some good players. Trent Grisham's not a postseason player. Austin Wells isn't a postseason player. Anthony Volpe's not a postseason player. Ryan McMahon shouldn't be our third baseman. It's a flawed team. And again, I've mentioned that some of those names that I said, they found ways to contribute in October. They did. But you need to have better options. You just do. You can't go into a trade deadline and need 5 relievers. That's an indictment on the roster that you've built. So, Kate, really appreciate the super. Jake, what do you think about this? Because obviously every team has weaknesses. The Dodgers have weaknesses. Everyone's got a weakness. But this Yankees team, it seems to me, has the same consistent weakness year after year going into important games. What do you see from this?
Yeah, I mean, I want to take it back to Yankees Royals ALDS game 4, I believe, right? Or did they sweep them? No, they didn't sweep them. There was a game 4. Okay, cool. So, game 4 last year, they had, this is interesting. Torres hit 200, 400 on base percentage. Soto hit 286, 389 on base. Judge hit 154 with a 389 on base. Wells hit 125. But they had Wells in the cleanup.
Austin Wells was hitting cleanup in that series?
He was hitting cleanup ahead of Stanton.
Do you remember how Wells played throughout the postseason?
Wells hit 125. And he had a 222 on base percentage. To this point, by the way, we're just talking about at the end of game 4 of the ALDS. Stanton at this point, 375 with a 444 on base. Jazz hit 133, so improvement this year. 188 on base. That's probably the lowest on base I've ever seen, unless it's just
Jazz's on base was 188.
188. Volpe hit 250 with a 438 on base. Yeah, so he regressed this year. Alex Verdugo hit 214 with a 267. John Birdie hit 286 with a 375. Here's what I'm taking away from this. The Yankees absolutely missed Juan Soto this postseason because this postseason team was better than last year. It was. But didn't have Juan Soto, and it doesn't have playoff Stanton. And that's the difference.
Which is a major
Judge
difference.
This year. It's a major difference. Judge last year, guys, hit third. He had Juan Soto and Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres was a top 3 leadoff hitter.
His on base was over 400 in the second half of the season.
To this point in the postseason.
Yeah, it was really good.
And Juan Soto, 389, hitting 286. He hit a home run. That's kind of my thing on that, is that Judge comes through, and this is also kind of a reminder. You can bat Shohei Ohtani leadoff because you're going to get him the most at bats, and you have Freddie Freeman, you have, Mookie Betts, right? The Yankees can't do that with Judge. They can't put him second either. I think that was a mistake. And it's not as big of a mistake as Grisham leading off, which, by the way, Gleyber Torres leading off is so much more of an upgrade. It's insane.
Well, to be fair, the Yankees don't really have it, to kind of the point we were bringing to wrap a bow on Kate's point here.
Yeah.
The Yankees don't have a good enough roster to have a really highly serviceable leadoff hitter in postseason type at bats and hitting in the second spot. They don't have both. When you look up and see Springer in Luke's, you say, okay, they've got guys who can get on base. Both players are finding ways on base. Springer did that tonight. Luke's did it tonight with the big hit. They have 2 guys they trust ahead of Vladdy Jr. So it's more likely for Vladdy Jr. to come up in a situation where you tell yourself, and we saw it often in our comment section, people said you can't walk Vladdy there. And we said you still could. But yeah, you're now with the bases loaded facing Barger. That he was 3 for 5 tonight. He's not a great choice. Man. He is a great player, but the point here, the Yankees are really, in a way, who the hell is going to hit first? They don't have a good option for leadoff. They don't have another good option on top of that to put at 2. We only named you one other player, and it was Ryan McMahon, who hit anywhere close to even 280 in October. Yeah, it was one player. The rest of them were bench players. So the other starters, take your pick. They weren't good options at leadoff or 2. So the Yankees need better players. It's just that simple. I hate to be so basic with that understanding of what this team is, but you also have to have the talent in order to put the guys where they're supposed to be in the lineup. Aaron Judge is a 3 hitter. He's supposed to be hitting third. There should be traffic on the base paths all the time when he comes up to the plate, and I shouldn't be watching Trent Grisham getting out on 1 pitch in October and then having Judge go up there and have to take the first pitch of the at-bat when he's Aaron Judge. So it's just completely silly. I shouldn't look up and see my best player with an ops of 1,300 hitting 600 in October, and we're not scoring a ton of runs. We should have been, because we should have more going on around Judge. We don't. Brian, obviously in the Hall of Fame of Super Chatters, we really appreciate you being a member. Jake, I did see we got another member as well, obviously down the scroll of our supers.
Oh, I know.
Thank you, Brian, for the 5. Says Aaron Boone is a complete dickhead of a manager. This offspring from a great baseball family sucks. This team let down Cam. I'm so over this team.
They absolutely let down Cam.
Cam, I thought you brought up a really good point. You text this to me. You said, and I also had the same point, but I didn't really move it down the line or advance it. I said Cam doesn't have that A+ stuff that we saw in the wild card. That's true. He wasn't sitting 100 miles an hour, 100 mile an hour sinker. It was more 97, 98, which is still great. But he was more of grinded out mentality. I mean, you saw how many strikeouts he had in that Boston series. He struck out 2 tonight. So it was a real grinded out approach, and he found ways. He got us to 6 1/3. You gave Boone credit for letting him go deeper into the game. I completely agree, but Schlittler showed some real poise staying in the game. And it's just too bad that the bats and also the defense with the bullpen just let this team down, man. That's the ace of our team. If you guys are looking for the ace of the Yankees, Cam Schlittler is your ace. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, the Yankees have to be feeling really good about the future with Cam. That said, though, that was pathetic. They absolutely let him down. What I said is he didn't have his best stuff, and he didn't. What I'm really impressed with is you never know, and I don't think like this is always talked about, but you never know what you're going to get from any pitcher. Anybody can have a blow-up start. Will Warren couldn't come into that game and not give up 7 runs. He was diarrheaing down his leg.
Yeah, Yamamoto gave up a ball. I texted to you.
Cam
Yamamoto
gave
up a home run today.
Win or go home starter today as a 24-year-old, and
he's the number one guy. No, and he's the number one guy we trust. You're right. You can't technically know for sure what's going to happen. Like I'm just mentioning, Yamamoto gave up a home run to Schwarber today. It literally went into the parking lot. So you don't know how every outing is going to go, but you have to total up what does the average outing look like and then make a judgment on that player. I think we've seen enough outings from our rotation to make judgments on each of them.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done with Cam Schlittler. He's done quite a lot. We don't win that series in Boston without him. I don't know if Max Fried does his job, do we win this series? Probably. It's disappointing. Michael. Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Blue Jays fan, thanks for the awesome content this season, especially during the final stretch during the race for the first place. You know, Gary, I've gotten DMs on Twitter from Blue Jays fans saying we couldn't have covered the final stretch in the AL East any better.
It's probably because we're in today's world, people are always in a hurry to devalue what's going on around them. If you're a Yankees fan, you're supposed to think the Jays are just not nearly as good as the Yankees. It was a fluke that you won the division. Like that's the way that everything's sold to you in today's media because that's what clicks. That's what sells. We're not going to sell that to you. Sometimes, guys, we're Yankees podcasters. Sometimes what the Dodgers have built is just better. Sometimes even if the Mets do something that's correct, you should talk about it. You should cover it. You should talk about it as something that happened as a standalone quality event. People are also going to do things that we just don't think are that good, and maybe people think they want us to think it's great. No, we're going to give you our honest opinions. What the Jays have done all year, it was the way we covered them in the regular season. They punch us in the mouth, not just because they're more talented or more well-coached, but because they're honestly just a scrappy group. They've been built to play this style of baseball, and it really gives us fits. Teams that play like this, they really play a lot like Houston was playing in 2017, 2018, where guys are just fouling pitches off. They had Kyle Tucker, Springer, there he is on this roster, right? Altuve. They find ways to hit at a high clip with runners in scoring position and make you pay. Put pressure on your staff. And yeah, we tip our cap to the Jays. I know you said, Jake, you're going to be rooting for them to win. I think I was going to root for, God, who was I going to root for? I think it was going to be Seattle, just because, I mean, they haven't done it in such a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, I really, at this point, I hope it's in the AL, unless it's the Brewers or the Cubs. They're not going to win that series. But
the Dodgers would be a tough watch. They just won last year. It would be tough.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point, okay, I'll take anybody but the Dodgers. How about that? Sorry, Virtual. Love you, but I'll take anyone.
I think Virtual he'll live. He just watched his team celebrate at Yankee Stadium in October of 2024. So I think you can live without winning a championship.
The love. And then Mark here, we're definitely on a prank show. I have no doubt the Yanks literally repeated Verdugo in left last year. I will not take this organization seriously anymore. I know Dominguez, he didn't even get in a bat last year, right?
No, he did not. No.
So all this guy knows in the postseason is, wow, I can rake. And they played Alex Verdugo over him. That is unconscionable.
Mark, that's a great point. We just swapped seats. That's all we did. You're not going to play at all if you're Trent Grisham because we've got this asset in Verdugo. Verdugo's now gone and unemployed. And we're going to replace him with him.
Yeah, Jackson Churio, sorry. We got Alex Verdugo. Like, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, technically, Mark, it's what we did. But thank you for the super. Jeff with the 5 says, looks at the teams that win the World Series. They don't strike out. You think the analytics crew would see that? Now,
nope.
The Dodgers, they talked about batting average actually a lot last year. They talked about it. Hernandez against left-handed pitching kills lefties, right? It was really their answer to if teams want to go throw a platoon arm out there, if you want to go throw a Hill, if you want to bring Nestor Cortez out the bullpen, you're going to have to see a Freddie Freeman or, right, you're going to see guys who can take those lefty-on-lefty at-bats or guys who dominate from the right side against those lefties. They talked a lot about at-bats with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, putting the ball in play. The big quote, Jake, was put the ball in play, they'll screw it up.
Yeah.
That was what they said, and it won them the World Series. Obviously, they did more than that, so they need to give themselves probably more credit. But putting the ball in play and batting average will always matter, and I think it even matters more as we watch who's winning to that, to the credit of that super chat. So thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And then Mark, I just like Jazz and his attitude. If he really is a lifelong Jeter fan, then he needs to stop with his antics and show up with his play. It irks me. I feel like Jazz does get a little too much hate, but at the same time, the Gary, we agree on this. I know you called up Robinson Cano when you were younger, and you were like run out first base, right?
Hustle.
Yeah, hustle.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not hustle on that double play? I
have no idea. I just don't like the style of play that Jazz plays with. It has nothing to do with the bat flips. Because, Mark, I hear you. You're entitled to your opinion. You don't have to like it. I'm not going to try to sell you on it. I don't like the 240 boomer bust approach. And then they try to sell me that they try to really put lipstick on a pig here and say that he's not boomer bust because he stole 30 bases. No. I need you to hit at a higher clip with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. You need to be one of those postseason at-bats. To be honest with you, I need you to be more like Clement. That's what the Yankees need. I need more of that, and that's a role player. And I think Jazz is trying to be a star when he really should be one of our role players.
I'm curious if Jazz goes back to the drawing board and tries to figure it out. The 70%, the fact that's in his head, I think he's capable.
I don't think so.
No, it's tough. I mean, he's definitely... Jazz is kind of similar in a sense to like an Odell Beckham Jr.
I was going to say Brett Favre. He's obviously not as talented, but Brett Favre threw a ton of interceptions because he's super aggressive. He's going to try to throw it through a tight window. It's like asking, hey, I wonder if Brett Favre, he threw 30 picks this year. I wonder if he's going to maybe watch a little bit of this guy who's a little bit more conservative in his throws, a little short check downs here. Is he going to make that adjustment?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I just don't see it with his personality. I think that he can be the hero in a flip of a switch. You saw him do that in game 3, right? We know what the talent is. Very talented kid. But it's almost like he's too talented to do what the Yankees really need from Jazz Chisholm. So it's disappointing. I would love to believe that he can. He's still under contract for next year, so I believe he'll be back. But, man,
he'll be back unless he's traded for, if he's involved in a trade, it'll probably be for Ketel Marte. But, yeah, I feel like the whole OBJ comparison is more so just the way the fans perceive him. I'll say this. When you are a player that shows a lot of emotion, that is going to be very love or hate. Bryce Harper's a perfect example. People said he was an asshole. They said he was a douchebag. They've never met the guy. But they have already assumed that because of the way I don't like the way his helmet flies off when he's running. Well, that happens with Volpe, but regardless.
That was definitely how he was covered.
I don't like his long hair. I don't like how he hustles. Like, he just looks like an asshole. I'm like, and what I found funny is that even the older generation didn't like Harper. And I'm like, you're the people that are like, back in my day, we ran out every... It's like, he does. So, I don't know. I'm not saying Jazz is Bryce Harper in that sense, but I'm just saying, like, that personality, for sure.
People
like
are going to
OBJ.
take it like you're comparing talent to talent.
Yeah.
It's personality to personality. And you have to have the maturity to make an adjustment and realize the Yankees don't need my 30 home runs. The Yankees need 280.
Yeah,
the Yankees need me to get on base.
I think he can change his ways. The fact that the 70% thing, I think you got... All right, this goes back to what I was saying. James Ralston has to go. Get a real hitting coach in here who is going to actually be like, hey, enough with trying to launch angle all this. First off, get the analytics out of hitting. Enough with the launch angle. Are the Blue Jays relying on analytics with their hitting? Absolutely not. There is no way.
There's no possible way. I'm sure there is some level where they say, oh, we use analytics. Some type of calculation. We get that. But you can't tell me that they look at Clement, who had 25 career home runs, and said, he's got to be in the lineup. No, they just said he's a good hitter and he takes quality at bats. We're going to put him in.
He's a great defender.
Yeah, great defender, right? Jimenez, same thing in the 9 spot. They just watch the games. They were at all of their games. They know how they can make an impact. Apex with the 2 says, we need our own Kirk. And Clements, yeah. I completely agree. We got home run guys. We're trying to hit home runs, which is what the Twins did in 2017.
Appreciate
somewhere
you,
in there.
Apex.
2019. And Josh with the 10. My God, we have a lot of supers. Josh, thank you for the 10. Says, thanks for the insight this season since I found this podcast. Josh, welcome in. I hope you guys keep podcasting until the World Series. Maybe we can pick some team to follow. Go Yanks. New blood next year. Poor Judge. Yeah, now we do feel bad for Judge. There should be a lot of new blood in the building in 2026. There just should be. We'll see to what extent they do that, what they do at the offseason, what they do with manager, assistant coaches. If we have new third base coaches, who knows? There was a lot wrong this year. But Josh, really appreciate the word. Welcome into the podcast, and thank you again for the super. And Jimbo Slice with the 10. Gotta love that picture of John Cena. Thank you for the 10. So I'm so sad they wasted another elite Judge season, and they wasted a great outing from Schlittler tonight. I don't know what else there is to do except to fire Boone and Cashman. Great podcast this season, by the way. Jimbo, thank you again. Honestly, I wasn't concerned about wasting another Judge season. I was concerned about wasting Aaron Judge when he finally finds that switch in October. And Jake, we both predicted it would happen this year, and it did. They wasted it officially.
He was the hottest hitter in the postseason. I mean,
both he and Vladdy Jr., the two hottest hitters in baseball.
I know. It feels like the quality dumbed down a little bit with no Aaron Judge. He's just this star that just plays in New York. It's like, now that he's hitting, I'm sure now that he's hitting like Rob Manfred in baseball, are like, you can't be serious. Because he just generates so much, It's crazy.
Jake, I was just looking at our super chats. We genuinely may be here 5 hours.
Yeah, no, we got a haul ass. So
yeah, we do.
Yankee fangirl for life, because we still have 10 voicemails.
Oh my God. Yeah, we got to cook.
Yankee fangirl for life. Thank you for the 5. Always appreciate you. When they pinch hit for McMahon, I screamed how they took the only player who scored a run, but we're leaving in Volpe. In my opinion, Boone sees himself in Volpe. Oh no. He's the coach I see myself in it. Oh God. Yeah, you're probably right. I'll tell you right now, I was cussing. I was pissed.
I know you're pissed. I could tell by the tone of your text. You were like, "What the hell are we doing?"
Yeah, you're definitely dumbing that one down. But yes, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
I'm doing you a favor. Yeah. And I got about 15 other text messages, people going, "What the hell are we doing?" I didn't reply to any of them.
I usually dropped the F-bomb in the first 15 minutes, so.
That's very true. I usually wait till the morning after. I think I've got like 45 unread text messages about different decisions, pinch running, pinch hitting, all of it. I text them all back in the morning, It was a frustrating night. Let's be real. Ness, thank you for the 20. Says Jazz had 1 home run and 1
Jad.
ribby.
That's what we're calling him now. If he doesn't play well, he's just Jad.
Jag Chisholm. So Jazz had 1 home run and 1 ribby. Oh, wow. Did he really? Oh, okay. So he hit that home run that drove in a run. He hit 180.
Himself.
Yeah, he drove it.
This is hilarious. I'm sorry.
Volpe was terrible with double-digit strikeouts in 7 games. We keep saying that we can't hit good pitching. I say we can't hit openers or rookies either. What's that saying?
Something in rebuild, rebuild, clean house.
Retread and rebuild, clean house.
I'm not trying to blow up the entire team, but I understand why people are.
Well, usually when you blow up the team, that just means you get exponentially worse. I've never seen a team get blown up and then be better the following year. My expectation is to win. I just think the guys who are the boomer bust mentality that we don't trust in October to take at bats against good pitching, get them all off the roster. I just think it's that simple. You don't need a revamp, or I shouldn't say revamp, but you don't need to rebuild. If that's the case, just take the bad players off and put the good players on. That's what the point of the offseason is. You can make trades. You can take players off your roster. You don't have to bring players in arbitration back. So let's just not. Tank 1562 with the 2 says, I hope Don Mattingly finally gets his ring. That would be pretty cool.
Hey, speaking of which, is this not the most perfect setup? If the Yankees fired Aaron Boone and hired Don Mattingly, it's a genius move because you're taking what Don Mattingly's learned being in Toronto.
That would be really cool.
I already wanted him before that. Didn't realize he was the bench coach for Toronto until like halfway through the year. And then I was like, oh, I want him even more.
Right, because you can't keep up with all of it. But that would be pretty sweet. Whether it be him, it's got to be someone that would come in the building and say, I'm not looking at 20 homers and just considering that a guy who should be starting.
No.
It's not that simple to judge a player. I need to watch, how do the at-bats go? What does he look like against Crochet, Tarek Skubal? Do they put on good at-bats? Can they take quality pitches? Do they go out there and swing at the first pitch and ruin an inning? If the answer is that you can't trust that guy against good pitching, well then in October, guess what I'm going to do with you? You don't play.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Jazz
don't.
was terrible in the field as well. Ness, we appreciate you. Yeah, I don't want to say terrible, but he had some moments for sure. That double play has to be turned in that situation. You get out of the inning, it's 2-1, right?
Yeah, well, when you hit 180, you drove in 1 run the whole postseason run, and it was you who you drove in with a homer. You better be damn Ozzie Smith over there at second base, and he wasn't perfect. So if you're going to be horrible offensively, you need to be perfect defensively, and he was nor perfect on both of them. So Kate with the 2 says, who do you want as manager? Jake already has said
I got the
he wants Don Mattingly.
Manager combination.
Okay.
Don Mattingly, general manager, Derek Jeter.
I'm going to go Jorge Posada as manager. I'm going to go Derek Jeter as general manager.
I think Jorge would be up there. I know Buck would be up. I really like Buck. Not the other dude, but Buck Showalter for sure.
Yeah.
Not the announcer. I don't want him to be my manager.
At this point, I think
Buck
Joe
Martinez,
Buck.
just like,
I think Joe
guys.
Buck actually he might have a shot
Joe
at this
Buck.
point.
Oh my God.
Right, Neil. Thank you for the 20.
Thank you, Neil.
Says as opposed to Lombard, who hit poorly in Double-A, and obviously he's young, but that is true. He did struggle in Double-A. I would rather see a trade for Seager, who may be available. It's time for a true a star back at shortstop for the Yankees. So I'm going to say one thing to you, Jake, because I already know.
I'm looking up his contract.
If George Lombard Jr. didn't exist, the Yankees would just simply have another George Lombard Jr. to tell you about. So no matter what, the Yankees will always be in a situation with shortstops. There are always shortstops at every team's minor league level. that perform at varying degrees, right? They're pretty much all drafted as shortstops in their own right. So in my opinion, the Yankees, if they go trade for a star player and plug and play, I think for the Yankees and how the Yankees fans have been conditioned, I think it's always seen as a nearsighted, childish move to trade for the star and not wait for Lombard Jr. I think it's been conditioned for people to feel that way because when I read it, Jake, I immediately thought, oh, this seems like a panic move or a move that is like, it's very quick. It's something to fix the problem right away. I'm trying to make people understand, don't buy into all that hoopla. Just because you want a player out there on the market who's a star player to plug and play right away, and you don't want to see the young kid who's 21, just because you don't need that storyline to play out, that doesn't make you a bad fan or a nearsighted fan stuck in the past. So, Neil, really appreciate this super chat. I think it's really thought-provoking. Jake, I know you're high on prospects. You like Lombard, but Spencer Jones is the one player that you really want to see it through with. How do you see this super? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I thought it was interesting because I looked it up, and the Yankees are actually on the no-trade list for Corey Seager. He's got a no-trade clause, meaning Corey Seager could block a trade to the New York Yankees.
Who's all on that no-trade list?
I don't know. I just looked up if the Yankees were, and they are. So, I don't know.
Well, Neil, there goes that. But we really appreciate the super.
He could just be like, hey, yeah, I've changed my mind. I signed this contract about 4 years ago, and yeah, the Yankees look pretty good right now. Let's do it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, technically, CC Sabathia did not want to play for the Yankees at all and had to be convinced to do it. So who knows if that would change.
But hair now, come to the dark side.
Exactly. Technically, I don't really think he has a ton of facial hair, but no. I get the point. Mark with the 2 says Judge also equals only one who has his own hitting coach.
I'm sure more have their own hitting coach. Stanton definitely has his own hitting coach for sure.
Oh, yeah. A ton of guys have their own hitting coach. That's definitely true. Jersey Girl with the 5, thank you, says the Yankees giveth and the Yankees taketh away. Clearly, the Yankees have organizational, systematic problem. Let's dump Wells and Volpe for starters.
Wells can stay. Volpe can go, like I said, Abu Dhabi, expedite it. He's gone.
Yeah, Wells is also a catcher, so if anyone's going to hit 220 and hit 20 homers, strike out a ton, really not be... It doesn't come around often where a guy like Kirk is around the league, where he's a contact hitting catcher. That's not around a lot, guys. That's the reason Real Muto signed for like 100 and some million.
Yeah,
it's super valuable and rare.
It's a weak league for catchers, especially right now. Now that Adley Rutschman's kind of fallen off too, it's like, what the hell? There's nobody out there. Jersey Girl, we appreciate you. Michael, Cashman's been in power longer than Vladimir Putin.
Is that officially true?
I need to see this. No way, right?
Come into power.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's not even close.
Well, when was it? Oh, 1999.
Yeah.
No, it is close. He was in power. No, so Cashman got here in 98.
I thought Cashman was 93. I don't know why.
No, Brian Cashman became the GM of the Yankees in 98.
Yeah, he was with the team in 93, I think.
So, first of all, Michael,
that's crazy.
This is next level research because that's by 1 year. So you definitely knew this information. Well done.
He was appointed by Boris Yeltsin.
Anyways, really appreciate it, Michael. Chris, thank you for the 20. Says Jake, Gary, it was a real pleasure to converse with you both, and somehow you were able to maintain my sanity somewhat for this year. Obviously, we weren't able to do that with Willie Downer. We hope he finds his way back to us. And what's his name?
Where's Cheeks?
Cheeks. We have no idea. Cheeks was a valued customer.
PS5.
We're not sure where he went.
We don't know where he went either.
We have no clue where these guys have gone. We will come back, win another 90-plus, playoffs, and go it again. My appreciation for you both. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
The Yankees are going to win 90-plus games next year. It's a given. But what will that roster and the management, what will they do to build a team more built for October and not, I repeat, not the 162? It is not a crapshoot. It is not bad luck that these Yankees, who are home run hitters, don't hit in October. So don't let them sell you that lie that it's just bad timing that Jazz played the way he did or all these guys played the way they did. We need more contact-oriented players. Perry Anthony with the 5 says get Kyle Schwarber for leadoff or Roland Acuna. Oh, Ronald. Roland. Well, we know what you think of Acuna.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both, obviously. Acuna, I just like a lot more. Yeah, I don't think Schwarber's
Just never
coming to
healthy.
New York. Schwarber, dude, Schwarber might go to the Blue Jays.
Well, hey, can Kyle Schwarber, can he play first base?
I think so.
Could you imagine if we had Kyle Schwarber, if we just...
We're just like Rice, you can play catcher, Kyle Schwarber at first, Stanton DH, hitting the way he was hitting, Judge. Yeah, that would...
And Schwarber does. He's a proven postseason hitter. So the idea that he's just another bopper, he's not that. He's another level, just like Stan. He's a power hitter, but usually in October he performs. He just didn't this year. Schwarber usually shows up in October. Big homer. So Perry wouldn't hate it. Jeff J with the 10 says, we just had the opposing manager say, oh no, start spreading the news, bitches. When is this feckless team going to act like grown men? When are we going to be tired of other teams celebrating in our house? Last year, Jeff, thank you for bringing this to attention. I have no idea if this happened or not. I'm going to assume it did, Jeff, so thank you.
I don't care if it did. You get to kind of do what you do. Is it a little classless, I guess, but...
This is what happens. When you go to recess and you get punched in the face, all the kids are watching. Everyone's watching how you're being treated. And you know what everyone always tells you? I mean, if they're smart, if you're really getting picked on at recess, you know the real answer to make it stop happening? Some parents will be like, oh, go tell the teacher. That never works. The real answer is to punch someone. Punch them back. If someone's out there bullying you out, you need to go show that you'll fight back. If you don't, people are watching that, and it's just low-hanging fruit. I think the Toronto Blue Jays probably see that, and the Dodgers dogged them last year. Beat them in the World Series, talked them down like they were dogs. Didn't give us any respect, and by the way, didn't bother me at all. I thought we didn't earn it. Said this year, let's go out and prove them wrong. I'm not on the team, but let's see what this new group does. See if they earn respect. Jake, they didn't earn it. We're getting dogged again. Rinse and repeat into next year.
Yeah, Jeff J, we appreciate you. Been a long time with the Supers, and man, you deserve extra credit for using the word feckless. That was great. That was fantastic. Rocky, thank you for the 10. Give me one good reason, just one, that Boone allowed the Jays to get the early momentum by pitching to Vlad, who has been unconscious with a runner in scoring position and first base open. Why? I have no answer. I kept saying it to Gary. Gary was losing his mind texting me.
I hated it.
I'm so numb to the pain of sports that I just expected it. Like, obviously, I knew what we talked about in Yankees Unloaded would not make it to Aaron Boone's ears in time. But regardless, I mean, yeah, it was stupid. I told you yesterday, I never changed my opinion. I would never pitch to this man. Never.
You said something technically true. You said, well, it was good that Cam Schlittler limited the damage, and I agreed, but I didn't want to hear that at that time. In this game, you relinquish momentum by giving up a single run to start this game. The home crowd was waiting to take a lead and never give it up. But to give up the 0-0 game at the hands of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in an at-bat where it wasn't bases loaded, you are foolish if you're Aaron Boone. And he allowed it to happen. We said Cam Schlittler is easily, far and away, the most qualified player on the team to pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That said, he should not have pitched to him. It completely squandered all momentum the Yankees had, and we never got it back.
Yeah, and Jersey Girl has a prediction. Aaron Judge retires without a ring. I'm going to say Aaron Judge retires with a ring. I do. I think he will.
Okay. I'm going to say that that's correct. It's not easy to win championships. I don't see it as a crapshoot. A lot's got to go right. You need your GM to be operating on all cylinders. Your manager needs to do a good job, at least in a singular season. Dave Roberts did it, right? He's now done it multiple times. But guys, remember, in that 2020 season, Dave Roberts was on the hot seat. People hated how he was managing their bullpen, and they finally got over the hump. But it's not easy to do. The Yankees don't get to the dance, and I mean the World Series, nearly enough for me to believe they're going to win the World Series. I think unless there's major change, which I'm leaving hope that there can be major change, but until I see that major change, I will never believe that this Yankees team, continuing to build a roster of bodybuilders hitting homers, I don't think they'll win a World Series. So I hope this changes. I'm rooting for it.
I think it will change. I think this is the third longest drought, the fourth longest drought. The longest is 19 years, so they're getting close. I don't think this will be the longest drought. I think they'll win it within the next 3 years. Neil, thank you for the orange super. Boone and Cashman both need to go, yes. Hal should open his bank book for Theo Epstein and get Mattingly or any manager that will hold his team accountable. I'm tired of Cashman and Hal acting like this is a small market team. Yeah, it's so true. They do kind of add that. And it is weird because the pressers after, like, why do I feel like it's like dad and he's giving me permission? Like, oh, just so you know, we're going to go after Juan Soto, but don't expect anything more, okay? Like, Christmas is going to be light this year. Like the hell?
It's exactly what it feels like. And Theo obviously is responsible for ending the Cubs curse, right?
I'll never understand why Theo lost his job or isn't in Major League Baseball. I don't know what happened there.
I think it was like the Cubs, right? Chris Bryant's on his way out the door. Rizzo was gone. I think the Cubs organization probably expected it to be a perennial thing, something that they did year after year. But like I said before, it's not easy to do, and the Cubs don't spend money the way the Yankees do. So
no, they don't.
What would Theo be with permission to spend the way the Yankees spend, which is $300 million? What would Derek Jeter do in a spot as GM where remember, guys, he quit that job in Miami because very clearly they wouldn't let him spend. What would he do if he was allowed to spend? We know he's very aggressive in his words on Fox, but what would he do actually in the room? I would imagine he'd be more aggressive than what Brian Cashman is. So, Neil, thank you for the super. B-Rye with the 10 says, thanks for a good season, guys. Wish it ended better. J-Dom for life. B-Rye, thank you again. And we've also got a new member, Pat Crocker.
Second deck.
Second deck. Welcome in, Pat. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And Angel, we get some orange here with the 20. Says, both of you nailed it. Real appreciate that. Yankees are regular season bullies who beat up bad pitching. Most likely the Yanks will go after someone like Kyle Tucker. What they need is a Luis Arias type hitter with a little more pop. Well, I'm going to say one thing. Kyle Tucker is a risky signing because of the health and no other reason. Kyle Tucker had a down year because he played through injury. Kyle Tucker is not what we have in our lineup today. Kyle Tucker has never struck out 100 times. He's part of what could be a solution. But again, Jake, you brought up a good point. How expensive is this going to be? If I have to spend $400 million to bring a player who has struggled to stay on the field the last 2 years, that is a major risk, knowing my team's got a budget at a price that really it shouldn't be at. So it's not an easy offseason. I agree the Yankees should be looking, maybe not at Luis Arias, who's a atrocious defender, but they need to look at players of that nature. Somebody who cares about batting average, who maybe cares a little bit less about slugging.
No, I think that's definitely fair. And yeah, I mean, I agree. Angel, appreciate that. Daniel, thank you for the 2. Wish the Yankees never traded for Robin Ventura. I mean, Robin Ventura had that one really good year in 1996?
That was very random.
It feels random because it was literally 2 hours and 3 minutes ago.
Oh, I see. So we probably, yeah. This is going to be our only Joe Rogan length podcast. I'm just telling you guys right now. We'll never again go 3.5 hours, but you guys have been awesome. Jake, I did tell you before the show. Jake's we could go an hour. I was like,
not an hour. I said, let's keep it under 2 hours.
2 hours. That's right. I'm sorry. 2 hours. We did know we were going to be talking Boone, Cashman, and we've always got a lot to say about that. But I told you, our audience is going to want to talk this. I had a feeling. Hey, Jordan GOAT. I disagree. I think LeBron is the GOAT, but Jordan has become a Yankees Unloaded member. What level, by the way, just to give him full credit?
Second deck. And
welcome in, Jordan.
Just wanted to let you guys know, you guys are freaking incredible. Over 1,000 people have been watching for almost 3 hours now. So the next time some dumbass wants to come on here and say, nobody watches this show, or wants to say whatever they say on Twitter or whatever, you can just show them this video. This is insane. We've never had this. This is nuts. It is 2:13 on the East Coast. We've
had more people, but not for this long.
We've had more people, but we haven't had over 1,000 people in 3 hours. That's ridiculous.
It goes to show you there's not a lot of options on Netflix these days. So we really appreciate you guys obviously sticking with us in all seriousness.
I know there are people like, all right, yeah, I mean, I watch as long as you guys go. I know, we can see it, dude. I have this Rams channel I've been doing since 2020, and our view duration destroys the Rams. And the view duration on the Rams channel is really good. Gary, This thing's at 25 minutes. 25. Think about it. The more viewers you have, the more difficult it is for the duration of the average view.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of people just pop in and they're like, oh, they didn't bring Derek Jeter in here. I'm leaving.
I know, right? 25 minutes is insane for 8,000 views.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So we'll see what YouTube does with it afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
Again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Yankees Unloaded, please be sure to do it. Make sure to like the video. Liking the video helps us out a ton. It shouldn't do anything. We're not sure what likes do, but someone who obviously is up top at YouTube decided that we're going to make a thing called likes. They used to have dislikes, but yeah, make sure you guys like the video. Sakunia with the 2 says, hate that Judge did so well, only to be let down. I'm happy that Judge did well, even though we lost, because the last thing I wanted to do was think that it didn't matter that we sign a Kyle Tucker or we trade for a Steven Kwan. You trade for a player who really could table set for Aaron Judge, and then there's going to be people who watch another MVP season from Judge next year. Obviously, hopefully he's healthy to do it. There's going to be people saying, who cares what he does because he's Mr. May. Next year, we'll be able to enjoy the whole season of Aaron Judge because nobody will say, well, what about October? So Zacunia at least takes solace in that. Ninja Hot Dog with the 5 says, I hate the whole strat with swinging on specific pitches. The best players have the best eyes. Choose whether to swing on if it's in the zone or not. I mean, that's Juan Soto. That's why he was considered a generational player. He knows when to swing or simply when not to. And sometimes the best thing you can do in an at-bat is just not swing. And it doesn't seem like we've understood that from top to bottom in our lineup. A few guys stand out, but yeah, Ninja makes a pretty good point there.
Yeah, it's definitely tough watching this. Yeah, you need more bat-to-ball contact and bat-to-ball skills in general, and that's the thing. Toronto has that. The Yankees are lacking it. So, Ninja, we appreciate you. Give the D-backs whatever they want for Perdomo. Yeah, I mean, screw it. Let's see if we can get Perdomo and
Ryan
Marte. Let's just go all out.
It'd be pretty nice. More of the style that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Again, guys, players are either over the hill. They're either 30 plus years old and people say that they're old and past their prime. They're either injury prone, Kyle Tucker, or they're in their 20s playing awesome and the team doesn't want to trade them. So you have to take risk no matter who you trade for. So just understand that when you look at a Perdomo, the more likely player to be traded off the roster is the player who's 31 years old in Ketel Marte, right?
Yes.
So that's what people have to realize about the market. The only teams that will trade a player,
They're
will
not
say,
gonna trade Perdomo, but they could trade Marte as early as this offseason. So
yeah, because the team who trades for Ketel Marte has to know if I'm bringing in a player over 30, we need a win here in the next 2 to 3 years. That's the mentality. So the Yankees would be a fit. There's plenty of other teams who would have a fit for Ketel Marte. So we'll see what they do. Perdomo, we can go ahead and put that dream to bed. To me, Perdomo is in the same cloth as he's not as good of a player, but Jose Ramirez. They had no reason to trade Jose Ramirez. He was under contract. They just simply weren't going to let him go. Scott Ross with the 5 says, do you think hiring Mattingly could bring in some of the Jays' offensive approach? Seems they've cracked the code over there. So no, I don't believe that. I think he'll tell them that they need to try to go more that direction. Like it could be helpful for a player like Jazz. But Jake, I'm going to be real quick here. This is roster construction. Don't shortchange roster construction when it comes to how these at-bats are panning out. You can't put Austin Wells out there, Ryan McMahon, a bunch of guys who have struck out their whole careers, and then expect them to see Don Mattingly and turn into Tony Gwynn. You have to have a certain skill set to play this style, and the Jays in the offseason made the decision, this is how we're going to build the team, and this is how we're going to coach them, and it worked beautifully.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree entirely with Scott. I think this could bring in some of the Jays' offensive approach. I think this,
no, definitely.
But yeah, and that was what I was saying earlier. That's why I kind of laughed, because I was like, oh, there was a super chat. And Scott probably said this way before I said it. I didn't even see a super chat until now. So
it would help us do more of that. But you can't go in with the roster that we have today and then put Don Mattingly in the building. You wouldn't just suddenly start seeing at-bats like what you see from Toronto, where they strike out 9 times in the span of 5 games. That will not happen. You have to do both. Build a roster that he can work with and then buy into that approach. Yeah, go ahead.
I do not want Murakami, because Murakami is exactly what we're trying to get away from. Home run, strikeout, no contact. I mean, I'm sure he has contact skills. I'm not saying he can't, but why do people want him? Because he hit 50-something home runs that you're judged at 62.
He will be a San Francisco Giant.
Or a Dodger, because that's Team Japan, so who knows?
That is fair.
Daniel, thank you for the super. You mentioned the Yankees have a top payroll. I believe the Jays are just below you at number 4 payroll. It's about spending well. Yeah, and I always say this. I think the Yankees' payroll is overrated. I don't think they get the most bang for their buck, and it's not just what you're saying, Daniel, because I do believe, aside from the Santander, what I thought was a terrible signing, aside from that, the Blue Jays do spend their money well. The Yankees, they end up being stuck in buyout territory, buying out DJ LeMahieu's contract, buying out Aaron Hicks's contract, buying out this guy, buying out that guy, Joey Gallo, whoever, right?
Britton.
Zach Britton, Anthony Rizzo. You know, that's the thing. So what ends up happening is you, on the payroll, it says $300 million. But what are you actually getting? A $230 million team. So, yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Mark.
He doesn't.
Thank you for the 2. Where do you think Cabrera fits into the mix? Well, he could be a good bench guy.
He's probably a bench bat. Obviously, what you saw this year is he was thrown into the role as starter at one point in the season.
He's not a starter. But
he's simply not a starter.
Utility guy. If he can play in the outfield again, it kind of offers. If they could have the switch hitting Oswaldo Cabrera, who can play any position just about, with the righty Jose Caballero, who can also play any position, more of a contact hitter.
Right.
I think having those two on your bench makes you much better, and you really kind of the depth widens there, I think.
Yeah. So I think the terminology there, into the mix, that's a perfect way to describe it. He can get into the mix, not a starter. He was kind of what I was saying about Tim Hill. I don't have a problem with him, but when you bring him in, he's got to face Freddie Freeman. Is that really the role I want? Probably not. Slim Lewis with the 2 says Cashman is worse than Boone at his job. I would agree with that personally. I actually do agree with that. They're both problems, but Brian Cashman has been here for a long time. Like if Boone was here since 1998, could you guys imagine what the mentality would be then?
Yeah.
1998. It's a long time, guys. Brian Cashman's been here since 6 years before my dad joined the team.
That's crazy.
It's absurd how long ago this man joined the team. Paul, our favorite dude from the UK, thank you for the 2, says, love the channel, guys. Keep the faith for 2026. I mean, we're definitely doing our best. So thank you for bringing the positivity. We'll try to keep giving you guys content as much as we can. Captain Solo with the 5. Well, hell of a name there. YouTube's interesting.
That's definitely Han Solo.
I wish it was. Cap, thank you for the 5. Says, time to break up this team. Cut the unproductive jabronis. Oh, he's using my word. Jabronis and the dead weight. Boone and Cashman can go too. Might have to rebuild. I would say cut the dead weight. That's the perfect way I would verbalize that, Jake. I would say cut the dead weight. Trim the fat of this roster. There's certain guys who can do what we want them to do. There's other guys who can't. Trent Grisham can't do it. He can do it in the regular season. Anthony Volpe can't do it ever, regular season or postseason. We've learned that. He's no longer just this postseason hero. There's some fat that can be trimmed. So, Captain, we really appreciate that. And Demigod,
I agree with that.
Thank you for the 2. Says, what do the Yankees do this offseason? We'll definitely get into that in depth, but become more contact-oriented. Jake tried to give you the positive, I shouldn't say the spin, but the positive takeaway to what just happened is that maybe they look at what the Jays just did to us, being a contact-oriented team, and they're going to try and do that a little bit more themselves. Will they do it? That's another story. We're going to have to watch it.
It's true, but we appreciate Demigod. And then Z Corp Alpha, thank you for the super. There's fires in your name, and there's a fire emoji. Fire Boone.
Commit to the bet.
Hire Jeter as manager. I like Jeter more as GM, but I don't think I'd complain if I found out tomorrow that they have hired Derek Jeter as their manager.
Yeah, I would probably say that. I would say Jeter would rather be the GM. I would, and I think the one thing he'd want to establish.
Him, I think.
Yeah, I would agree, and he's more out of the way. He's not as vocal, and I'm here to tell you guys right now, when the Yankees are struggling, you're going to want someone more vocal and more honest and off the cuff. That's what I think the Yankees need more of, that flavor. They signed Josh Donaldson to quite literally do exactly this. He didn't perform to really back up that mentality in New York. But if Josh Donaldson gave you some MVP years in New York, you guys would have seen the fire that they were talking about and the leadership qualities that they were really talking about. The Yankees need a manager with fire. Mark with the 2 says catchers are historically great managers. Posada, obviously we saw Joe Girardi, who is also a manager, who I think more people like. And wow, I can't believe we've caught up on the supers. There's my buddy Tommy Frazier with the 2 says, all right, G, focus up on bowling practice tomorrow. Oh my God. Tommy, I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's funny.
I did bowl really well this past week, so give me some credit there, Tommy.
Hey, this last one, I think we can go a little, let's explain this a little bit.
Let's do that.
Because I want to be fully transparent here. Gary and I don't want this show to end. Like we don't want to go on like a hiatus and then like YouTube literally just like locks us out. Like, okay, we don't want that. So I brought up last year's, but it was painful. But I was curious, what did we do last year, Gary? Right? So October 31st was unfortunately the day that they lost. They actually lost on the 30th, but it bled into the 31st. We already know this. So Halloween, very scary. So then we took some time off. Just kidding. We took 2 days, and we were right back at it. November 2nd what will the Yankees do in free agency? And then November 10th, are the Yankees done with Gleyber Torres? By the way, there was a picture of Pete Alonso in a Yankees uniform. That was the thumbnail for the Yankee. What are the Yankees going to do in free agency? So
I remember that episode.
that is funny. Are the Yankees done with Gleyber Torres? That was one. What's his face? The guy that they traded away. He was in the thumbnail. Why am I blanking on his name? Durbin, yes. Good Lord, man.
The guy we were told was going to be on the roster. He was not.
They like to lie. They like to lie.
Yeah, it was a lie. They did lie to us.
They lie like a damn rug. All right. So, yeah, so that was that. And then we didn't. All right, so November 10th and the 2nd, we did not do another show until December 2nd. We're going to try to avoid that. December 2nd, we did a show, Yankees eyeing Cody Bellinger plus Juan Soto. I love that we had that as a title because, like, duh. Like, of course, they were eyeing Juan Soto, but, yeah, you know, did well.
You live and you learn.
Juan Soto betrays the Yankees, chooses Mets, was 7 days later on December 9th. What the Yankees' plan B could look like after Soto's departure was also on
I'm pretty sure
December
like
9th.
Corbin Burns was in that thumbnail.
It was Corbin Burns. Yes. Corbin Burns. It was the guy in the Phillies who they were like connected to for some reason, and Kyle Tucker.
And we got none of them.
Yeah. No. Breaking Yanks sign Max Fried. That was the next day, December 10th. We were busy. Oh, we're always busy during winter meetings. That's normal. Okay. Yankees prepping to make big offer for Kyle Tucker, who is open to extension, ? That was December 12th, right? Then December 14th, Yankees miss out on Tucker, turning attention to Bregman and Bellinger, ? The Bregman
We did
thing.
get Bellinger.
The Bregman thing didn't happen. I was upset about that, but that was December 14th. December 16th, do the Yankees prefer to trade for, instead of signing free agents, we had Randy Miller on. I actually forgot we had Randy Miller on during December. That's kind of
I
dope.
totally forgot that.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, Randy Miller came on. And God, who is that? I don't even know. Is that Rosario? I think Rosario is in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted Rosario, so I was very happy when they traded for him. December 17th, what does new Yankee Cody Bellinger bring to the table? We were absolutely amped.
Yep,
By the way, these are getting
could not have
like
been happier.
Gary, I don't know if you remember, these are getting like 8,000, 9,000 views. I mean, people showed up for these. So, then we waited 4 days, and then Paul Goldschmidt signed. And is Nolan Arenado trade next? No, it is not. December 21st, that was. Then we didn't do a show until January 30th. Wow, that's a long time. It's time for the Yankees to sign Alex Bregman. They did not do that. So then
he still wasn't signed. He was taking forever to sign.
so
Ends up signing
stupid.
really a 1-year deal with the Red Sox. That people can look at it as something as it wasn't, but he had a opt-out. So he really signed a 1-year deal with the Boston Red Sox with the ability to get out of it, and the money can be paid later, which it is now. So would have been nice to have Alex Bregman on the roster, I will say.
That is true. So, yeah, it looks like, Gary, we took almost a month break from November 10th to December 2nd. Mm-hmm. Then we took a week off from December to January. No, that's a lie. We took over a month off, December to January. And then we didn't have a show until March 17th. Yankees must avoid trading their farm for pitching at all costs. So there you have it. And I feel like we're missing one because I know we had Ariel Epstein on at some point. Yeah, we also made videos, Gary. So we made videos, we did live streams, and we actually kind of called it, so, because we had the Devin Williams video, right? And we actually called it, Devin Williams was in one of our thumbnails, the one with Ariel, she came on.
Did he have a beard?
No, he wasn't in a Yankee uniform. I couldn't find one.
Okay.
So, yeah, I did what I could. So, yeah, Yankees have no chance but to land Corbin Burns. Well, that didn't happen. So, anyway, yeah, that is that. So
we'll be doing extensive winter meeting coverage this year. So if you guys need coverage from winter meetings, we're your guys.
Yeah, and I think we should definitely do those ISO videos where we just take one player and we do like a breakdown on them.
Yeah, I'm also curious, should we cover the postseason now, because the Yankees are now in Cabo for vacation?
No, we shouldn't. I know some people are going to want to. I just think the viewership on that is going to be dog shit. So
yeah, as I completely agree with you.
It'll probably hurt our algorithm too. So we should probably stick to Yankees.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would say, we could do episodes on the farm system. We could do episodes on the organization. We could do there are a lot of different things that we can do. We can talk about.
We can do a
free
whole
agency.
breakdown on Brian Cashman, why he's so bad at this.
Yeah.
But Daniel, thank you for the 5. Says thank you to you both for such great coverage. Thank you for that. Says you both take the time to discuss all baseball matters and not just the Yankees. Very appreciated. Yeah, Daniel, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be bugging my wife about Brian Cashman, and she does not care about baseball or the Yankees. So you guys being here is much appreciated. It gives me, I get to talk to Jake. We get to talk Yankees baseball. We used to do this for free, but now we do this as a job. So, Daniel, we really appreciate the kind words.
This is true.
Thank you.
This is true. By the way, over 8,000 views, so really appreciate you guys. It's been awesome. So now we have arrived. This is going to be longer than the damn Irishman. All right, anyway. Actually, not as a joke. This, I think, is our longest episode.
I feel like a NASCAR racer. I've been sitting in this chair for 3 hours.
Yeah, I know. I keep squirming. All right. Kyle Malay has one that's 4. Oh, Kyle Malay has 2 that are 4 and 6 seconds. So I have no idea what we're going to hear here. There's no way there was some freaking buzz at the end.
It's the perfect way for him to finish his season is to just buzz.
Fuck you, Yankees. Fire Boone. And see you guys next season. Whatever.
Whatever.
Did you hear the buzz?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I love him. I feel for him, but I love him.
Thank you, Kyle.
Time. Guy, this is actually... All right, I'm going out of order. My bad. But this was before the game. Oh, boy.
Hello, everyone.
This is going to be sad.
It's 6:32 p.m. Going to try to keep it simple here, but do I ever? Yankees just need to go out and play smart baseball. And Cam needs to give us 6 strong with maybe 2 runs, and I think we'll be in good shape.
That's
At the end of the game, we can't allow Vladdy to beat us.
We did.
For Cam, it's important to get ahead in the count. When Vladdy gets a favorable account, he's even better in those situations, and he kills us. It's best to get up 0-1, 1-2. If we get the 2-0, that's a dangerous count. So Cam, I think, also has to expand the strike zone. Left, right, high, low, and he's pretty good at that. So you got to keep Vladdy a little off balance. Trent, please set the table tonight. Do something. I wish for Judge to get the monkey off his back last night, and he came through. And Trent, let's go. Set the table first inning because we need to score.
Well, he went.
Get up
He's no
early.
longer a Yankee.
Happy to see Goldie in the lineup, as I mentioned last night. I thought he should have been in the lineup, but in hindsight, Wells hit very good last night, and so if he didn't play yesterday, maybe we would have seen Rice catch. I don't know. Defense, I don't know. You know I'm a huge Wells supporter, and I'm glad it worked out and we won the game. It's the right move tonight. Although Cabby should be at shortstop, so please, Volpe, get some hits.
He didn't.
Let's go Yankees.
Actually, Volpe didn't put the ball in play. He went 0 for 3 with 3 punchies. So,
Yeah, that was...
Guy, I'm sorry. That
That was hard to watch, hard to listen to. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but yeah.
Because you get to hear what the optimism is. There's a lot of players who weren't playing well. He wanted to see if they would. They very clearly didn't. It was a joke of a performance. Guy, I'm sorry you had to even watch that game the same way we did. So,
all right,
who's
guys,
next?
Get ready for a scroll here, okay? Because this I have quite a lot to say. Yeah, not fun watching the Blue Jays celebrate on our field right now. Honestly, all I can say is Boone completely outmanaged. Jazz cost us the game, obviously. Easy double play. Cam Schlittler finishes strong, maybe even comes in for another batter or something depending on matchups. We have a future. We have Schlittler. But you know what the problem is? Judge finally had his postseason. Hitting 500. Every time he's doing well. Obviously the power wasn't there, but still, he's making contact. That's today's baseball is contact. Yes, he has power too, obviously. We'd like to see more of it. But he's consistently getting on base. The problems are, we have Grisham leading off. Clearly, at least one game, change something up. Change something up, please. Boone, what is he doing? Doesn't make any adjustments. Volpe? Jesus Christ, man. I have a Volpe World Series jersey. I'm glad it doesn't have his name on it, and I hope we pick up another 11 because that's it's just horrid. It is absolutely horrid. The fact that what I'm still laughing at, the fact that he pinch hit Dominguez for him. He pinch hit Dominguez for him in the ninth when there's no one on base and it isn't a clutch situation, and Dominguez actually comes through with a double. Meanwhile, he's putting Volpe up there with runners on base every time just to watch the poor kid strike out. I'm not mad at him. He's not meant for it, man. Baseball these days, they train you in AAA, AA. When you come up, you don't get as much help. You have to know what the hell you're doing. The kid clearly doesn't know what he's doing at the plate. He goes through huge streaks, and, I mean, what is it, like 12 out of the last 14 or 13 out of the last 15 at-bats he had a strikeout this series? It's incredible. All right, let's continue the scroll. Other things I want to say. Next year, main people I can rely on coming back. Bednar, obviously. Obviously, our core, Judge. Stanton had a bad playoffs, let's be honest, but they're going to bring him back anyway. I want Ben Rice back. Honestly, I would like Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt's clutch, man. Goldschmidt goes up there. He actually works the count. He's playing smart. He's a true vet. He's not playing like the rest of them. Grisham, no, do not re-sign him. I don't want him re-signed. Yeah, he had a bad postseason, but I don't want him re-signed regardless, even if his regular season. It was a good season, but still. Let's get Belly in there. Let's get Dominguez. Let's work on Dominguez. I really like Dominguez. I really do. I know he struggles in the outfield. His splits are bad, but he's someone that I feel has a way more potential than Volpe does. Volpe played good defense in the postseason. I'll give him that. But I mean, his bat, like McMahon, was a good bat. McMahon.
Ran out of time. Can I read that chat, by the way?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Someone called Volpe. Volpenis.
I can't. Oh my God, Mark. Oh my, 207.
All right, so I left a long message, and I guess there's a limit. I didn't know that, so let me cut this shorter this time. Honestly, it sucks seeing them on our field celebrating. One thing quickly, so I don't make it a long scroll. Boone, decision-making, terrible. Volpe, terrible. I don't know how you pinch hit Dominguez in the ninth, but don't pinch hit him when Volpe is struggling at the plate in clutch situations throughout this series. 12 out of the last 14 at-bats are...
Mark said I don't have to replay this because it's literally just recapping what he just said.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but you see, I wasn't sure, so I just,
But yeah, Mark, we really appreciate it.
We got a scroll from Ninja Hot Dog. The transcription is not even available for this one, so...
Oh, boy.
Let me tell you the story of how I perceive the 2025 New York Yankees. They lost star player Juan Soto, and so they knew they had to up their offense. So they went out there, they signed Goldschmidt, they signed a bunch of people, they signed Bellinger, they signed Max Fried, and the organization was trying to push this idea onto us that we were a better team than last year, a better team. And they come out there, and not only is the record not as good, but the errors are still there. It's all still there. We make it to the postseason, and yes, we do beat a non-AL Central team, but we lose in the ALDS again. Another loss in the ALDS again. And what really annoys me is here's the reason we lost. If you ask me, this is why we lost. We lost. I'm getting text messages. We lost.
We got Buzz Lightyear Jr.
Yeah.
The offense was unreliable. The Blue Jays offense was much more reliable than ours. We had one game where we scored 9 runs, 2 games where we did basically nothing, and then one game where we stat padded 7 runs after we surrendered the entire game. That is not a reliable offense. The Blue Jays offense, they came out there and they produced game 1, they produced game 2, they produced game 3, and they produced game 4. And so even when their bullpen hit the bag in game 3, they still were able to recover. And also, let's talk about the bullpen. They used 9 pitchers in today's game. Only 1 run. A solo home run. That's all it was. 1 home run.
It was bad offense.
Would never. They would give up 10 home runs if we used that many pitchers, usually. Sometimes we can have a miracle game. But usually, that doesn't happen. We had a bad bullpen. We had a bad offense. The fundamentals still haven't gotten much better, although we did do good in the postseason. And there's no reliability. We had Shred Grisham in our leadoff spot. He did basically nothing. Y'all were talking about playoff Stanton. Playoff Stanton did basically nothing. One of our better performers was Aaron Judge, who was against stat padding. It's very problematic. How come we have all of our guys in the lineup and we have to pray to God that they do something, and then all they do is get a couple runners, with the exception of game 3. And game 3 was an exception. After it happened,
I absolutely love that multiple people were cut off because they ran out of time with how frustrated they were with this team, which is it's just symbolic.
It is.
I think I got timed out, but I want to finish up really quick. Everyone was saying Yankees in 5. It didn't happen because game 3 was not the rule. It was the exception because we are a bad team, and the Blue Jays were just much better. They owned us this year. So with that being said, we should fire Cashman. We should fire Baboon. We should fire everyone. Fire back. How do I go into this well? It's a bad team, and there needs to be tons of changes made. Fire Baboon.
I would, Ninja, appreciate you. I would say it's not a bad team. It's a little bit of an overreaction, but I get it. This is what I want to actually point out, and I don't think I said this at the beginning, so people that aren't watching this live are not going to stick around for what is as long as Gone in the Wind, I think, at this point. So here's the deal. The ALDS sucks. Not making excuses. But this Toronto team was so much better than the teams they faced last year.
Oh my God. It's not even close. We weren't tested at any point last year until we got to the World Series.
Yeah.
It was literally like we had a red carpet to the World Series, and they put a badge on our chest for beating a World Series patch on our chest for beating the Royals and the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians had no business on the field with us at all, and we weren't that good. We were. I guess you can call us good, but none of those teams were even contenders to beat us. I thought Boston could have beat us this year. I mean, very clearly we thought they could have beat us. And Boston wasn't that good. They weren't. They were just okay compared to us. So we saw Boston, and by the skin of our teeth, get through. And then we see Toronto, and they beat the brakes off us and eliminate us at home in a bullpen game. So I understand that some people are going to want a positive side to what's just happened here. There's really not. We saw a weak path last year. We get through it. Some people wanted to take credit away from us, and I told you guys that we just shouldn't care about that. But when you go into this year, we did have a path that we had to show up and be ready for. And we were bounced in the division series. It's not an accomplishment at all.
Yeah, no, it definitely it's frustrating. But I will I'll say this: we just continue to climb the ranks here. This is now longer than the Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King extended edition.
Oh my God! How many more voicemails we got?
2 more, 3 more,
2 more,
3 more.
How many?
3 more.
3 more. All right, well, let's get to it.
Well, that's all she wrote.
This is B-Rye.
Pretty disappointing end to the year right there. Cam gave a good performance, man. Can't put it on him. Jazz had that killer error, man. That really opened things
was
up.
terrible.
Man. No bueno. Trent Grisham, terrible postseason. Notice you get my boy Jason in there and rips a double. Just saying. Anthony Volpe struck out 14 times in his last 19 at-bats. I don't know, man. That's got to be some kind of record.
It probably is.
It's on record.
Just disappointing. McMahon played pretty well. Honestly, McMahon had a pretty good postseason. Made a lot of great defensive plays. Really, I mean, outside of Judge at the very end, last gasp run. Just tough, man. Tough to go out. I really thought they were going to win tonight.
I did
wasn't
too.
sure they were going to come back and win the series, but I really thought they were going to push it to 5.
Same.
Definitely let down. Well, I appreciate you guys going live every night. Hopefully we'll have some fun stuff to talk about in the off season. Yeah, I don't have any fun quips tonight, but J-Dom for life.
Hey, J-Dom for life. We love that. Yeah, you know, I just wish they would have. If obviously, I don't know what would have happened. I just wanted to see playoff Stanton come up with the bases loaded. I was really irritated Bellinger swung at that. I just so unlike him. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we all expected us to win this game. Cam Schlittler, we expected him to pitch well. He said I was tipping pitches my last outing. He pitched well in the outing against the Jays before that. Goes out, pitches well without his best stuff. I mean, it's not like he was 93 down the middle. It was still 98, but it wasn't as located and as premium of stuff he had in that Boston series. Found a way to be highly productive. The offense let him down. The defense let him down. And we lost in a 2024 fashion. It sucked. It was just ugly. Yeah. Mark said we got emotes for the offseason. You know, Mark, now that we're officially in the offseason mode, I will guarantee you the emotes will be within the week. So I will work on those personally. Mark, really appreciate the 2. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we'll do all that stuff during the offseason, emotes, merch, all that.
Yeah.
So,
and you said we have 2 more?
we got 2 more.
2 more. Who's this?
Ed W.
Ed W, let it fly.
Hey, it's Ed W. In a cab from the game, and we have a special guest star tonight because I just can't. It's Sally. Go for it, Sally.
You know, it happens. At least McMahon, our worst hitter, actually, but he did really good today. He got a really good catches. He did good today. He hit a home run. Beautiful. They were good, but like I don't personally think they wanted it that as badly as much as Toronto wanted it. And I get that Toronto has some really good saves. Like Toronto had really good saves, but the Yankees didn't they couldn't. It was just hard for them, But Toronto's won 2. Yankees won 27. All right, that's it for the voicemail today. But we were sitting next to a Benar's wife.
Yeah, guys, thanks for a great season. And at least the silver lining was that Jason Dominguez got to stick it right in Aaron Boone's face for not playing in the entire series. Oh, Sally wants to say one more thing.
And I don't think you got what I said last time. I said Jason Dominguez is SpongeBob because of his square face. That's what I wanted to clarify. All right, that's it.
Well, again, guys, thanks for a great season, and see you at the winter meetings. Hopefully we'll sign the right people, maybe even figure out that we have the outfielders and a world-class first baseman, 2 of them. Okay, we're out.
It's Sally, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Sally was great.
Sally, it's time to send Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman to Bikini Bottom. It's time. It's time to ship these boys
we got
out.
A sponge emoji going on.
Yeah, really appreciate the voicemail, Ed. Thank you for being, in our audience as long as you have. We really appreciate it. Obviously, we'll be in contact with you very soon. Love the sponges.
Oh man.
But yeah,
J-Dom
thank
for
you.
life. What else can you say? Vulnera Medicus ends our final show of the season, because the next show will be the show of the off season. So
yeah, let this one fly.
Well, Jake, Jerry, this is Ricky. I don't know. The season was a roller coaster. I experienced that all the games I went to in person. I went to the Ryan McMahon off the wall when he was against the Rockies, and Tim Hill gave up that lead in that first game we lost.
Oh, God.
I also went the other, and then the highest was when Pablo Reyes, when I went to the Royals game, and he made it home. And yeah, this is just a long season.
Tough
I don't know.
I forgot that was this year.
I loved hearing you guys for about 150 of the games.
Thanks, Ricky.
Just a lot. Remember listening to you guys on the way to Colorado. Just everything. Thanks for another great summer. And can't wait to hear you guys in February.
Whoa,
Right,
hey, whoa.
you
It won't be that long. But we appreciate you. Yeah, man. Gary and I have live streamed for 24 hours straight before. So this has nothing on that, but I'll tell you right now, this was crazy. This is not something we normally do. This is probably not something we'll ever do again.
Well, don't say never, because when we get to the winter meetings,
well, that's different.
We're going to be working like dogs. So we'll see.
This guy makes me sound like downright chipper.
Guys,
oh my God.
we actually really like, despite the fact, I mean, we don't love to hear people be down about the Yankees.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing, is that I would rather have the raw emotion of a loss, because what it's going to do is a year from now, 2, 3, 4 years from now, when the Yankees finally win a World Series, hell, I just want to be alive when they finally do it. It makes it that much sweeter, is how bad this sucks. This sucks. And it needs to suck just as bad for you as it does Hal. It needs to suck for Hal the same way it does for us. It needs to suck for Aaron Boone. You remember one of our first Super Chats tonight, someone said, it seems like Boone knows he's keeping his job in his demeanor in the postgame. It needs to suck just as much for Boone as it does for the people leaving our voicemails. So guys, it doesn't bother us a lick if someone's down, because we should be down. We lost in the World Series last year and embarrassed ourselves in front of casual fans, in front of diehard baseball fans. We looked horrible on the big stage. We lost a future Hall of Famer in Juan Soto. And our act after that was to show up, and to be honest with you, we embarrassed ourselves in the postseason the following year. This is not a good day for the Yankees, but we do appreciate you guys being here, of course. The Yankees have to figure it out now, Otherwise, you're risking one of the greatest players. It is the greatest player of this generation. It's he and Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani's not wasting his time with the Dodgers. They've already won a World Series. He's going to be remembered as a winner and as a, 6 or 7 time MVP. Aaron Judge has to become a winner at some point, and that's the responsibility of all these guys. It's ridiculous that we've gone this far without him winning.
I agree. But guys, that's going to do it for the longest episode. You are here making history on Yankees Unloaded. We're going to end this before it ends up being, what is it, the Justice League Zack Snyder cut? I think that was 4 hours. So we're going to avoid that. Good movie. I still don't know how I sat there for 4 hours and watched it. But
we want to put in the comment section
yes,
the type of videos that you guys would be interested in us creating over the next several months. We're going to be doing winter meetings. Yankees are interested in such and such. But give us something other than those type of videos that you guys think you would like us to make, and we'll make them. So drop that in the comment section. Before you go, make sure you guys subscribe to the video. It's been a great year. It's been a long year. I still can't believe that Pablo Reyes was a part of this season. And yet, hearing his name, he feels like he was part of 12 seasons ago, like he was on Chase Headley's team. But we do appreciate all the super chats. Again, guys, you don't have to super, but we do appreciate the support on our channel. It's what's allowing this to be eventually a full-time thing for us. It's our job. So thank you for that. Jake, any last things to say?
Yeah, really appreciate you guys. It's been a fun year, man. I just hate that it has to end now because obviously we took this into late October last year. But yeah, like the video. Go tell somebody about us if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment. Treat it like a suggestion box. Let us know what you want. And J-Dom for life.
Like this video and go